2008.
Say that anymore.
Honestly, no, like this video is high budget as fuck. You guys can't see the video, but like, if you haven't seen the I Just Wanna Play Video Games video, like...
Where did you find this?
You haven't... This is the famous meme song. Have you never heard this song?
I've only heard you reference it.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, it's been around since 2008, so...
Where did you find it? Like, how did you come across it?
I don't know.
Oh, alright. Well, that was enlightening, thank you.
Not really much. I feel like it's just one of those, like, it's just always been a meme that's around, you know?
Well, I mean, we ran in different meme circles growing up.
Like, I feel like I knew it as a meme first, you know, and then discovered what it was. Oh, I forgot to turn this light off over here.
I just wanna play video games. I've always heard you do that, but I never...
I just wanna play I thought you knew what it was.
No, I always just saw you do it, and it just
Wow.
was entertaining.
Well, you didn't even know how incredible the song was.
No, I didn't realize it was sung by a literal 12-year-old.
No, it's like some kid who's like, you know, I guess his parents just bought him a music video, you know?
His parents had that fuck off money and got him a music video for Christmas.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys don't know what I Just Want to Play Video Games is, you gotta look it up. Like, it's a fucking classic.
It's pretty
It ain't hard to find. Monsters!
Alright, guys. 'Tis the season, so I'm giving you what you want.
You doing it? You going all the way?
I'm cooming. There you go.
Now you guys can actually see me try to struggle to change the input on the TV.
It's an integral part of the Vegan Hope experience.
Exactly.
What's up, boys? Today we're drinking that sweet, sweet Monster Energy Ultra Paradise.
I prefer the Ultra Fiesta, but I love the Ultra Paradise as well.
So, cheers. Hope you're having a good time wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Crack one open with us. Take a seat. We're gonna play some more Hades.
Yeah, we're playing more Hades. I wanted to show, like, my analytics of how much I fucking played this game. Because after, I think last time I had only beat it once or twice when we were playing.
Oh. It only took that many times for you to figure out that you're, like, get the twist? That your mom...
Yeah, you only have to beat it once to meet your mom. Like, beating the game, you meet your mom. And then you have to beat the game 10 times to get her to come back or whatever. So now I've got over 105 hours on this game, making it, like... If you look at my playtime, like, so I have played Hades as much as I played Animal Crossing New Horizons. That is mind-blowing to me. I played it 20 hours more than Pokemon Sword. What? It just doesn't feel that long. It's really trippy how much I've played Hades, because I don't play games like this for very long most of the time.
In the words of that 12-year-old child, you do just want to play video games.
Animal Crossing, like, we played it non-stop for months. It felt like we were always playing, but I guess I only played for like an hour or two at a time, maybe? Maybe that's the difference?
Yeah, because you would usually play in, like, little snippets.
Because the thing with Hades is that I could just play it constantly, because, like, we do content and I play Hades the whole time. Because I'm trying to tune out my life and escape. And then, like, I'm home by myself, I play Hades. Hope goes to the shower, I play Hades. Like, I just have so many opportunities to turn it on and play it, because it only takes 30 minutes to do a run at most, you know? And, like...
Well, and the benefit of the Switch being handheld is that you can just off and on whenever you need.
Because, like, half of what we do is watch YouTube videos, so it's like, there's, like, whether or not I'm playing Hades does not affect my paying attention to what we're doing at home most of the time. Especially because we're watching YouTube videos, you're on your phone, I'm playing Hades. That's how it goes. I have nothing to do on my phone. So, like, my phone time has been entirely replaced by Hades time.
Two millennials ignoring each other for their electronic devices.
Not, you know, we're watching political propaganda and we're reacting to it with each other and we're having a fun time.
That's true.
As long as it doesn't bother you how much I play Hades, because you know I would stop. We've been watching things. Life has been normal. I've just been playing a shitload of Hades.
Put on Hassan and we vibe.
115 hours on Smash Bros. Ultimate, so I've almost played it as much as Smash, but not quite. 105 hours on Breath of the Wild.
That puts it into perspective.
Wow.
You played a ton of Breath of the Wild.
Think about how much Breath of the Wild we played. What? Yeah. I've beaten Breath of the Wild like 3 times. It's a trip how much I played Hades.
Not wrong.
I was looking through this the other day. So 165 on Fire Emblem Three Houses. That's the most, probably, of almost any game I have. Because I don't play games that long most of the time. Like, Three Houses is probably one of the games I've played the most of any game besides like maybe World of Warcraft, because that's a game that just takes that amount of time, you know?
Right.
Oh, and Monster Hunter I had a fuckload of hours on, but I don't know if it reached Fire Emblem. I think it was like 140 on Monster Hunter World.
25 hours of Let's Go Pikachu.
I felt like giving some perspective on how much Hades I've played because it's trippy. And the fact, it's that I've played this much Hades and I still have a ton of shit that I'm trying to do in the game. Like, I haven't 100%ed it or gotten, like, the true ending or whatever. However you want to call that. Because there's, like, a true ending and then there's a true ending. Because you get the credits, but there's still a lot to do after the credits. But,
Classic.
like, Jesus Christ, I played a lot of fucking Hades. It's great. So now I've beaten the game probably like 35 fucking times or something. And I need to set up the screen shit.
You've beaten the game 35 times?
Yes. Well, it's just a run. It's only half an hour long.
That's true.
That's true. Of course I've beaten it 35 times. Because every time I play it, I beat the game. Almost. I lose sometimes, but it's rare. You gotta get pretty bad luck at this point, to not complete the run. Adjust screen size. I found this the other day. There we go.
Oh, wow.
There's our screen corners.
Ain't that some shit?
You guys might see the corners, but we do not see those corners. Okay, anywho, here we are playing Hades. Sorry for the long introduction. I just wanted to sort of flex how much fucking Hades I've played, I guess.
Whoa, you're so cool. You're getting some real gamer points over here, man.
I got some new Joy-Cons.
Why'd you get new Joy-Cons?
After years. So I was getting the left stick drift on one of my Joy-Cons.
The Tokyo Drift, yeah.
And it was fucking annoying as shit. And I've just been putting up with it. Because like it started happening while I was playing Animal Crossing. But then it's like, Hades is such an intense game that when it started happening bad all the time, I was just like, I can't. I just gotta get new Joy-Cons. And I'm glad I did, because I could have went through all this effort to try to fix the left drift, even though I've had people who say that the fixes don't even work. But getting new Joy-Cons is like... It's like opening a pack of Pokemon cards, you know? It's just like, oh, they're so good. They feel so nice. The texture is back. Like, I really wore those down, and I didn't realize until I got new ones.
Simultaneously, you've had those Joy-Cons since we were gifted this Switch 3 years ago?
Yeah.
So...
It's been a while.
It's to be expected.
You know, GameCube controllers still work after years, but...
Yeah,
well,
but
I guess
this technology is a lot more fragile.
And to be fair, like, I've gone through several GameCube controllers, you know.
That's true, you have some ratty GameCube controllers, like, no lie.
The PlayStation ones last a lot longer.
But those get gunky, too.
Yeah, they get gunky, but they don't fail. From my experience, at least.
That one that I had some pretty bad drift. Remember
the white one. Yeah, that one was pretty bad.
So
Never mind.
It's just the wear and tear, especially because you put a lot of wear and tear on yours.
And as you can see, I've played the Switch probably more than any other console I've ever owned. Like, with just between these, you know, it's like there's not that many Switch games in total, but like I play them significantly more than anything else.
Certainly, the ease. Of playing the Switch enables you to sneak in a lot of time.
And yeah, well, the 3DS I probably had a similar number of hours. When all was said and done after how many years it was out, I probably had a similar amount of playtime on it. In that one, like, my stick was fucked. Like, the cover was, like, coming off, you know?
I remember that, yeah.
But it's just like, well, am I gonna buy a whole new fucking 3DS? I hate how expensive these fucking Joy-Cons are, because they're like $80. It's just completely ridiculous. To get the set of 2.
Yeah. But I mean, a PlayStation 4 controller is also like $60, so...
Yeah.
This is just the cost of having technology at this point.
Yeah.
Playing with the bow this time.
Yeah. This is probably my favorite weapon, this bow. But yeah, it's like... They have lots of Joy-Con alternatives. Where you have like the... we had seen those big grip ones in the store, where it had like the... Remember we were at Video Game Heaven and we saw the ones that had like the extended grip Joy-Cons or whatever?
Yeah.
The problem with those is that they don't have the gyroscope or the rumble. So it's like... And they only work in handheld mode.
Right.
So it's not really a replacement for your Joy-Cons. You couldn't do like 2-player games with them or anything. So I'm like, fuck it, let me just get like another set of Joy-Cons. Now we have 4 controllers if we ever wanted to play like a 4-player
that's true.
Joy-Con game, you know.
Sorry, I just remembered my boss texting me.
This is the most laid back Mick and Hope we've ever done. Just talking about Joy-Cons and casually playing this game. Answering text messages. Not a strong start, guys. Not a strong start. But who cares?
My boss. I totally forgot she texted me, and I didn't want to like wait 2 hours, and then be like, haha.
I've been doing that a lot lately. Because I've gotten this new job that I haven't started yet, with a local news station. You know about this.
Yeah.
But like they're getting me through their like payroll system because like I'm so used to being a freelancer and not having to worry about any of this shit. Working with a corporation
is a pain in the ass.
Yeah, and it's like they're only hiring me part-time, so it's not like I fucking get any benefits or anything, so I don't know why they have to do all this, but like you have to go through their whole rigmarole.
Nature of corporate.
And like they sent me this stuff late Friday, and for me it's like if it's past 5 o'clock on Friday, I'm not doing shit until Monday. Like I'm not gonna bother with this shit over the weekend, so I put it off, and then I get like an email this morning being like, we saw you hadn't done it, and we want to make sure you got the emails and everything. I'm like, no, I was just literally being lazy because I don't care that much.
Yeah, no.
I'm terrible.
They don't care about your private time. They want you to do things when they want you to do things.
But it's they're also trying to like fast track me through their system, so I feel kind of bad if I'm not like participating. But then it also turned out, like, I couldn't find the email they were talking about, and it hadn't sent to me, but then it turned out I could only view it on mobile. So, like, this morning, I couldn't find it. I was like, well, I don't fucking have this email, so I responded to them, like, oh, well, I guess I didn't get it. Because I got emails saying I received the package, but I couldn't see what they were actually sending to me. But it turns out I had to look at it on my phone, and then I could see all these graphics that didn't show up in the other things.
Sometimes there's weird stuff like that.
It's so weird that now we have an expectation that everything is mobile.
Yeah,
when I'm
you're
still,
looking at
like,
everything on your phone.
Yeah, I've been desktop for so long that like I don't really think about that stuff, but it's like everything now goes through a mobile app, and they don't even have a desktop version.
Desktop
or like
over here?
a working, reliable desktop version, you know?
Yeah.
Just super odd. The working world has left me behind.
The evolution of the way we work.
But I guess it's like now everyone, like more people have smartphones than have computers, you know? Yeah. Like, there's plenty of people who just have an iPhone and an iPad and no laptop.
Right.
Or
sure,
desktop
plenty of people
anything.
don't have, like, a desktop or a laptop setup.
Yeah. Just when you're, internet boys, you're used to, like... You just... Like, everyone on the internet, you assume they're on desktop, you know? They're all pretentious, like, desktop laptop users. And you don't think of them as all being on mobile devices a lot of the time. Yeah. Especially when you're in the gaming sphere, where everyone's a fucking PC gamer. And it's fucking PC master race. PC. Whereas for me, it's like, oh, my cell phone, you mean that shitty thing that I want to ignore desperately at all points in the day, and I don't want to interact with? I hate that I have to carry around a thing that ties me to work at all times, and that people just expect you to respond to them. I very much, like, I had a professor in college who was one of those guys who's like, oh, I refuse to have, like, a smartphone or anything because he doesn't want his work to come home with him. And so he, like, he basically would only answer emails and take phone calls in his office, and if he wasn't in his office, he doesn't respond to anything, because he's like, especially when you're a university professor, nothing is urgent. True. People don't need to be messaging you at home. And I was like, I love that philosophy, but I obviously have a smartphone, and I can't live without a smartphone. But I love that method of, like, I'm at home. Fuck you. You don't get to I have office hours. Fuck you every other hour of the day. I wish I could live that life. Yeah. Well, especially when it's like, you're dealing mostly with college students who are kind of thoughtless and shitty and have no consideration for anyone outside of what they think is most convenient for them. Yeah. Well, it's just kind of the way people operate now, because I'm a freelancer, so it's like work and phone calls and everything. It's just random completely throughout the day. Oh, I mean, if it's one thing if it's a business venture. I'm just talking about like when you have to go exchange gear with them and they set a time with you and then don't show up. Or ignore when you try to contact them and then just show up and be like, well, you weren't there. It's like, that stuff is retarded. Well, there's a reason we set up appointments. Stacy, what the fuck? Fucking big dog. Fucking dipshit. Idiot. But for me, it's like, if it's dark outside or if it's past 5, I feel like it's really rude to try to message anyone about work-related shit. If it's dark outside, you mean if it's 3 o'clock? Well, yeah, I mean, now it's dark early, but like, if it's around dinner time, if it's after 5, honestly, because you presume that people are at home with their families or whatever, and it's like, the older I get, the more I try to just be like, Like, yeah, I fucking have a wife, and I go home, and, like, we want to spend time together, and I don't want to be dealing with work shit all fucking night, so I'm just gonna ignore it. Fuck you, I'll get to it tomorrow when I'm home alone and I need shit to do. Like, it's 7 o'clock, leave me alone. I don't know if that's, like, you're supposed to be a fucking business owner who's on at all times and always answering emails and blah, 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 blah.
I mean, there are many people who subscribe to that particular way of life.
Like, I'm not about that.
It's all about, what maximizes your happiness, because some people,
exactly.
they enjoy that.
People are just so fucking impatient. It's just like, all the answers need to be given right now. And it's like, no, in the 80s you would have had to wait all fucking night and all week for this shit. The government's slow as fuck. Let me be slow as fuck. I don't fucking care. Most of the time, this shit just isn't that pressing. People need to slow the fuck down. Maybe that is what makes me shit and why I don't get enough work. But I'm also an incredibly unreliable texter to literally everyone, so there you go. At least if I set the precedent, then people know what to expect.
There you go. Set the bar low, and then you can always deliver above expectations.
I don't want to be accessible. Anyways, we playing Hades. What's going on? What are we doing?
Playing Hades.
Yeah. What's life doing?
Ugh.
I'm fighting the boatman.
He's a boatman.
When you fight the boatman, you get a discount card for the rest of the run, and also a bunch of money.
Nice.
Because he runs the shop where you buy items.
When you fight the boatman, do they play Yacht Rock?
Yes.
Nice.
He does not talk, but we have an unspoken bond.
Ah, yes. 'Cause you're gay.
I might actually be gay in the game soon, canonically.
Canonically? What does that mean?
There's 3 love interest characters.
I didn't know this was a dating sim.
There is a dating sim aspect.
Interesting.
Which is great. Because there's Dusa, the Medusa head, and then there's the first boss girl, who's like the tsundere, and then there's Thanatos, the gay death guy.
Gay death guy.
And
you know.
And so I've gotten to the point now where Thanatos is expressing his love for me. So I might be in a relationship with him soon. Because I had it with the first boss girl. It got to a point where she showed up in my room, and it was like a do you want to choose her as your love path? And I was like, oh fuck no, dude. I want to be with Thanatos.
So,
fuck this bitch.
That's one of the muses.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the first girls that you fight.
Yeah. Well, I don't pay enough attention to all the dialogue, but I think we had been in a relationship in the past and broken up. Or something like that.
And that always works out really well.
Yeah, but then like we rekindled our love. I don't read enough of the dialogue because I try to fucking power. That's the crazy part about my 105 hours with this game is that is with not having completed all of the storylines and with skipping vast amounts of dialogue because I'm impatient. But there's just so much of it. It's insane. Like 105 hours in after probably like 150 runs of the game, I'm still getting unique dialogue from all the characters. It's crazy.
That's cool.
It's really cool. But now I'm filled with deep regret because now it's like I will never know what all the dialogue is because I've skipped it and like I'll never replay it, you know, because it took me 105 hours to even get here.
It's interesting that you say Dusa is one of the characters that you can be in a relationship with. Yes. Because just looking at her, she seems like a joke character.
No.
She's always drawn like really silly.
Well, she is really silly, but she's like the shy girl who has a huge crush on you the whole time. And then there's Madura or whatever, one of the evil sisters, and she's the tsundere. And then there's Thanatos, who's the gay boy.
He's gay.
I think those are the only 3 characters that you can have a relationship path with.
Very progressive, though.
Yeah, of course. I mean, this is the one with the game with Black Athena, you know.
True, that's true.
It's highly progressive. Who knows? I bet fucking Thanatos is probably gender non-conforming too.
Wouldn't Dusa be the non-binary?
Oh, I wonder. I haven't paid enough attention.
As usual, Victor does not read, so we'll never know.
That goes to show you just how strong the gameplay of this is, that I have basically ignored, like, everything but the central story.
That's
It's
pretty.
like I read everything with
though.
Persephone and Hades and all of that because I was interested in it, but it's just like there's just too many characters and too many dialogue.
It's just really
you know?
funny because the whole thing's voice acted.
Yeah.
So like you
Well,
don't have to read.
But we're always playing it and watching a video, or we're on the couch together watching something. So I don't want to like have to pause whatever I'm watching and turn the volume up, and then it's just like it's too tedious.
That's fair.
And it's onslaughting you constantly with dialogue, and like some of it's vapid, you know.
Sure.
So you get to that point where like, ah, shit, I missed important stuff, but it's too late now.
Nice.
Anywho, so what have we been up to recently? We just had fucking holidays. We talked about Thanksgiving already.
Yes, we already talked about Thanksgiving. No need to rehash.
But we got some plants.
Yeah.
Talk about our day the other day. It was quite the eventful day. It was quite the odd
let's go
day.
in order of everything that happens. We had a busy long weekend.
Yeah.
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 So last week, one of my good longtime friends got married. We were helping with his wedding, and I was in the wedding party, and I mean it was pretty small. It was a pretty small, like low key thing. But it was really good. I was glad that I got to be there and then help them out. Vic took their wedding pictures. Because,
we're just like, because they were doing like their wedding was very similar to ours, where it was as low key as humanly possible. Like they did what we were planning to do, basically.
I was gonna
just have,
even
like,
do a little
immediate
more
thing,
than we would have done.
a little bit more because they got married in the church and stuff. But like, you know, they had their immediate family members and shit, and their extended family was all there. So it was probably like 50 people or something.
I don't even think it was 40, less than 40.
But the point is that everything they got was free.
Yes.
Pretty much. Like family members paid for the dinner, and that was the only thing that was really bought. They had a free
the cake
church
and the
and
dinner
everything.
were paid for. The church is his dad's church, so they didn't have to pay for that. They didn't have to pay for the minister. Vic did the pictures for free. They tipped him, but like he did the pictures for free.
But it was like they wanted to pay me. You know, the bride is asking stuff. I'm like, this stuff is really expensive.
Sure.
Like, and at that point, it's one of those where it's like, I'd rather you just give me whatever the fuck you're comfortable with, because this is not the usual fare. Like, I didn't have to do everything I would normally do.
You didn't really
know?
have to operate on the level that you do when it's like a huge wedding.
Exactly. So it's like, I don't know what a fair rate for this is, and you're my friend, so like, I'll
And
just do it
we're
for
good
free.
friends.
Like,
We've
I
been
don't.
friends for a long time.
Yeah. I obviously don't want to do it, but like I will, you know, because it's whatever. It's a gift.
Well,
like I don't know what else to get
They
you.
were
but...
they were very impressed with you.
Yeah,
they were
exactly.
They were like, obviously we know Victor's a professional, but like seeing him be a professional was a trip.
Which for me, it was like, I didn't feel like I was doing anything special at all. I'm like putting like the, you know, a normal to minimal amount of effort compared to what I usually have to do.
When people are not accustomed to seeing you in a work mode,
Yeah.
even that to them is like, whoa, oh, dude, you can do a serious thing.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, I do this all professionally.
Mm-hmm. And it goes to show, like, you know, anytime you do this stuff, you always have the couple's always like blown away. Oh, you did such a great job. It's like you don't even know what this shit looks like
yet. You don't even see
yet.
the pictures, dog.
You know,
What?
they just see your professionalism. We're like, oh, he knows what he's doing. Wow.
All that matters is the aura that you put out there and how you present yourself.
But I'm glad I
half the
inspire
battle.
confidence, because you want them to feel as though they're getting something done well.
Yeah.
Still need to download all their pictures and start editing them.
Yeah.
I have a lot of Christmas presents to get through.
That is true.
Still haven't done anything with the pictures from Marcus's wedding.
Aww.
They never asked for them, so I just kind of forgot.
Well, they probably don't want to bug you.
Yeah, and I was like, well, I should probably send him something like this Christmas, because it's been a year, and like it would be a nice Christmas present.
You probably should.
It's like, all right, I'll work on
Some-
wedding pictures all winter.
Yay!
Yeah.
So we helped them with the wedding, and
Yeah.
that was fun, and that was pretty chill.
The interesting aspect of this wedding is like the first time, really for me, especially like in my professionalism, like I never know the couples before I do these things, even though like a lot of professionals will get to know the couples, but like I don't set these things up, so I'm just like showing up
You
and
just
doing
show
whatever. Like this is the first couple I've known like shooting a wedding for them, but it's also the first time where it's like we know how dysfunctional this family is from all the stories that we
Yeah.
hear. So it's very interesting to see that, like, you know, anytime it's a wedding, it's an event, like, obviously everyone's going to be on their best behavior, and like and trying to be chill and trying to be nice, and so it's like I'm finally seeing all these faces to these stories that we hear and being like, huh, these people seem really, really nice, but I know it's because of the scenario.
But you know that they're putting on a nice face.
And that they have all this dysfunction behind the scenes. It was very interesting.
Yeah. Especially because the groom is one of my best friends who I've known since high school, so well over a decade. Mm-hmm. And I know all the family drama that he's gone through, and so when I'm seeing these people again for the first time in probably 7 or 8 years, it's like, oh, wow, Jesus.
Makes me appreciate the functionality of my family.
Yeah.
I have a pretty good functional family. I think
for the most part,
we ended up pretty high tier. Your parents
good.
Are pretty happy now, you know.
Yeah.
We ended up with a very strong family. You don't have a lot of siblings, or you have no siblings.
I don't have any siblings. Yeah. So for me, it's basically a non-issue.
I only hear like the mythology of like your grandma being a pain in the ass, but I never have to experience it. You know. Yeah.
She's so old now that it's like. She doesn't care.
It's like I'll hear about things she says and does, and it's like, but I never see it when she's around me, so it's like whatever. It's quite interesting.
No, plus my family likes you, which makes it a lot easier. Yeah, it's
good. Even though I don't do anything, but I guess it's because I don't do anything or say anything. It's like I'm pretty inoffensive. Yeah, it's like if I talked politics, they'd probably fucking hate me. But like
they definitely make it clear when they don't take you seriously.
I'm pretty good at just being around and being pretty inoffensive. Because all of my loudness and opinionatedness goes here on the internet.
The interwebs.
Versus in real life where I'm just like, I don't know, I guess I inspire confidence in people. I guess it's that everyone sucks so much that when someone doesn't suck, it's like, oh, they must be pretty cool. They don't completely suck ass.
They must be pretty alright.
Kind of like, the interesting experience I had with teaching classes this semester and working with students and realizing like the level they're on and like the level I've gotten to where the progression has been so slow that I don't really think about it and I don't have confidence in my abilities, and then I hang out with like amateurs and I'm like, oh, they don't know the first thing. That's why I didn't know the first thing when I was in school.
Yeah.
I didn't know what any of this shit was. I didn't have context for how any of this shit works.
It's a good way to check your progress.
Yeah. Because it's all just about understanding context, you know, and like having the experiences to be able to have the context to know what things do what and how to use them.
Yeah.
How to use the tools to do the job.
Just like most jobs.
Yeah.
Nice.
This guy's a boss.
The rat?
Not the rat, this thing.
Oh. Nice. It's just a big diamond?
It's like a mini boss. It's a big fuck. I don't know what the fuck they are. Could read their lore if we want. Woo!
Nice.
Yeah, so that was the wedding day.
Yeah.
And then we had the plant day.
Well, I went on Friday.
Oh yeah, you got more tattoo done.
Yeah, I got some work done on my sleeve. I'm in a lot of pain right now. But
yes.
So we
got excruciating pain.
Koto is colored in. For those of you who are actually watching the video, you can see. As with any time I get a tattoo worked on, for the next like 4 days, I'm like, why did I do this? This hurts. I am in pain, and I don't know why I have done this to myself. But you know, and then a month later, I go back and I do it again. But it looks pretty sick.
Yep.
Looking pretty fucking sick.
Hope is still addicted to tattoos.
Looking pretty dope. And of course, you know, even though I still probably have like 6 sessions left on this, I'm already like, I wonder what I want to do next.
Oh man, you found out about the tattooed artist's OnlyFans.
Yes, the girl who, well, I've known about that for quite a while.
Yeah.
But the girl who does my sleeve is top 0.1% on OnlyFans.
Yeah.
So,
she's pretty cool. She's
out there fucking killing it, dude. She's probably like, making huge bank.
So she's like 34, right, you know, and does OnlyFans, and she owns a business. I just think she's really interesting to talk about as like the coolest example of what someone on OnlyFans could be, because people want to perpetuate a meme of like, oh, the girls who do this kind of stuff on the internet don't have their shit together, they have daddy issues, and they're 18-year-olds and stuff. And it's like, no, you could be a 34-year-old, you could be smart as fuck, you could own a business, you could be a complete badass, and then you could do an OnlyFans because you feel like it, you know? And
then you can be in the top 0.1% of OnlyFans, making fucking crazy money, I'm sure.
It'd be fucking killing it.
It's Jesus. Like, yeah. So not only is she an extremely talented artist, but she's also making a huge side hustle.
Exactly.
And she's owning a business that has nothing to do with the OnlyFans. So it's like, people who want to shit on, online sex work or whatever, I don't know, man, fuck off.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're jelly.
Yeah.
Just that's fucking hating.
I always want to shout out someone cool doing that kind of shit, you know? Like a Belle Delphine, who we're both big fans of.
Oh yeah, she's a genius for sure.
In terms of her marketing in business and being a cool person, not her OnlyFans content.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not subscribed to any OnlyFans.
Yeah.
But I'm very supportive of those who have her doing cool things within that sphere. Very cool. Right?
Just like defying stereotypes and like being cool, you know.
It's like I've always theorized. The only reason people get mad about stuff like that, but not about the porn industry, is because it's women and sex workers directly taking all of the profit for themselves.
Yeah.
They're cutting out the middleman, they're cutting out whatever corporation or manager or whatever bullshit, and so all that money, with a percentage, of course, to the hosting platform, is going directly to the content creator. Yeah. And you're just salty. You're not making that sweet money. Fuck you.
Yeah. And to me, it's like you should be celebrating and propping up and supporting whatever is defying the porn industry, you know? Yep. It's like, yeah, that is a toxic industry that fucks up a lot of people. Like, that's what you should rail against if you want to be mad at something.
It's a very poisonous industry. So if we can get around that and give money directly to creators who we like as individuals, and we know they're doing this in like a safe way, that they're comfortable and they're making the things that they want to make, why would you ever stand against that?
Yeah. It's like support
unless you're a bitter little bitch.
The part of the industry that is getting beyond that and making it safer for women and all that kind of shit. Because fuck men profiting off of women's bodies and taking their fucking percentage out. And
it's not even
STDs
just women. Like, think
shit.
About all the transgender, non-binary, non-gender conforming, and men. Men are doing it too. So, like, it's benefiting everybody.
Yeah.
It's like, it's benefiting people of color, the non-binary people, everyone who is like niched and like pigeonholed in traditional porn and like in that kind of sex market.
Yeah.
They have their opportunity now to find their audience and make profit on their own without being exploited.
And I understand like the people who are mad about the simping and all that shit, and it's like, yeah, there are some legitimate negative criticism of it, but it's like, but the trade-off is better, you know?
To be honest, like, that does not bother me when there's so many people who simp for billionaires.
Yeah,
like,
that too.
Fuck you. Whatever. What we decide to give our money to is everyone's own opinion. That's like saying, oh, well, but Amazon. It's like, yeah, but you still buy things on Amazon. So, like, there is no easy solution here. You may as well try to support individuals where you can, because we're not living in a perfect society, obviously. Mm-hmm. There is no 100% ethical way to live your entire life without it being unbelievably expensive. Yeah. So you've got to find the stuff that is important to you and where you can feel like you make a difference.
Yeah. In the future is individuals doing jobs on the internet with niche markets, you know? Like, it's been more and more progressively leading in that direction, especially when automation and shit picks up. It's like the future is going to be Twitch streamers living off of niche audiences and OnlyFans and that kind of shit. That's just where we're going.
Yep.
As everything else becomes obsolete.
Yep.
But it's like, yeah, God forbid the porn industry become obsolete. Fuck them, dude.
Oh no.
Get them the fuck out of here.
God forbid some sleazy middleman doesn't make his 50%.
God forbid fucking women start going to OnlyFans instead of the casting couch.
Right? Yeah, God forbid women don't degrade themselves to make money off of sex work. That would be a real shame. Gee whiz.
But they have simps. Oh no.
Oh no.
The simps.
And it's like, well, you
oh
think...
no, but they're misleading men and tricking them.
Because as you can see by, like, the adult video conferences and stuff, they're simps for porn stars,
exactly.
too.
It's like it's not any different.
It's exactly the same!
They just were more hidden.
It's like All Gas, No Breaks, where it's like father-son combo goes to adult video conference together to simp over some fucking nasty porn star, and you're just like, okay, well, people who had that proclivity are gonna do that no matter what. So you may as well maximize the individual profit.
I'm like, guys, I know you don't go out into the real world, but like strippers have been a thing for a really long time. And like, and they have always had men coming after them as well.
Yep.
There are plenty of men who fall in love with strippers.
And you don't even have to be doing any kind of sex work to have people simp over you anyway. It doesn't matter.
You just gotta make sure that like OnlyFans is being the bouncer, you know? Because, like, you know, in a strip club, you fall in love with a stripper, and you're gonna get your fucking ass kicked when they decide that they're done with you.
Yeah.
But, you know, get banned from OnlyFans. Like, they have the power to ban people, you know? Like, even Belle Delphine was talking about how she had to cut a guy off and stuff. Like,
yeah,
they have the ability to cut people off.
Too intense. For a particular party, anyway.
Yeah. Just hopefully you're not getting doxxed. You know, there's plenty of problems, but, like...
Oh, yeah.
But
I mean...
It's cost...
You could get doxxed, or you could get, you know, tailed to your actual house working at a strip club. So that's a danger no matter what. Shit, you could work at a fucking Starbucks and someone decides they think you're cute and then they tail you home. It doesn't matter. It can happen to you anywhere.
There's no accounting for psychopaths. They'll always find a way.
Yeah, exactly. There's always that opportunity no matter what you do.
Yeah.
Like, there isn't anything to be done about it, really.
We're fighting the dad!
Oh, man. But on the note, when I went up to Richmond to get work done on my sleeve, I usually get up there a little bit ahead of time so I know that I'm not gonna, like, hit traffic and be late to my appointment because I value other people's time and I always try to make sure that I plan ahead. But I always go by a coffee shop up there while I'm trying to kill some time before my appointment. So it's cold outside, but the coffee shop that I like to go to is indoor dining is closed because of COVID. So everyone orders outside and then waits on the sidewalk until their order's ready. They stick it out on this little table, you take it and you head out. So I order my drink, and I'm standing on the sidewalk, scrolling through my phone. And as I am scrolling through my phone waiting for my coffee, I am approached by this transgender lady riding a hoverboard, and so she's already very tall. She's probably like, I don't know, maybe 6 foot, something like that. And then on top of that, she's on a hoverboard, so she seems even taller than, you know, 5'6" me.
Yeah.
She's completely decked out in like the fucking uniform. So she's got like the tights on. She has like the gray skirt. She's got like a pink and teal shirt jacket combo on. She's got like a little sparkly heart bag. And she's wearing a pink wig, full makeup. Like, obviously, the kind of thing where it's like she's still working on the makeup aspect, you know? Because makeup is hard. Yeah. Totally get that. So she's still, but you can tell it's like she's still figuring out, like, it's that kind of presentation when, like, it's almost like a performative femininity because it's so strong and it's so in your face. Yeah. Not that I can speak for what a transgender person is trying to portray, but that's how it comes across to a cisgender woman. Because again,
you're over-explaining.
I am not a trans. I cannot say exactly
There's
what
more
you're
to this story.
for, but that's how it feels to me. I need to set that up to explain how off balance this put me in being approached. Because I'm just minding my business, scrolling my phone. This lady approaches me on her hoverboard, hovers over to me really, and I'm on my phone, and she goes, "Hey, do you want to see something cool?" And I look up, and I'm just kind of like, first of all, it's in the middle of a pandemic, so I'm not expecting anyone to address me, let alone this person that I see before me. So I look up, and I briefly assess the situation, and I'm just like, fuck it, alright. And I go, yeah, sure. And she's like, okay, hold out your hands. Oh, she also has acrylics on. just so you can get a full picture of this
Yes.
what this person's doing. And she says, hold out your hand. So I like hold out my hand, and then she's like, no, the other way. So I turn my hand over, and so she reaches into one of her 2 purses that she has strapped onto her side, and she pulls out a little jar of glitter, and she starts shaking the glitter out onto my hand, and she's like, all right, that's pretty cool, right? And I'm like, yeah, like I'm trying to be nice and like just amuse this person because I'm trying to figure out what the hell is going on here. And then she repeats this process like 4 times with 4 different jars of glitter, shaking the glitter into these little rows on my hand. And mind you, it's cold and it's windy outside, so wind is blowing, glitter is like kind of like flying around, moving all over my hand. And she's like, all right, now I'm gonna show you a magic trick. I'm gonna make the glitter stay on the back of your hand. And I'm like, okay, like again, just trying to be nice, trying to see where this is going. And so she's digging into her purse, and she was like, oh, I don't have my hairspray. I'll be right back. And she like hoverboards away somewhere, and she's like, keep your hand held out. And so I'm standing here outside of a coffee shop in the cold and the wind with my hand out covered in glitter. And a guy who was also waiting for his drink like looks over at me, and he was like, what's going on here? And I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I have really genuinely no idea. And he's just like, huh, okay. And so she hovers back, and she pulls out her little canister of hairspray, and she like spritzes it on my hand, which I mean is just hairspray on top of glitter. It doesn't really hold it in place that much, you know. It's hairspray on glitter. So I'm just kind of like, huh, okay. And then she proceeds to like pull out these printed photos of artwork from her bag. Mm-hmm. And she's like, these are some pieces of art that I like to collect from artists that I think are cool. Here, you check it out, choose the one you like the most. And so I'm like just entertaining her at this point while I'm waiting for my food still. And I'm like, yeah, all right. So like I choose one, and of course it's all like trans rights, artwork, nice. Various, you know what I'm talking about.
Did she let you have one, or?
I have 2.
Oh, I didn't know you got to keep them. You didn't show me.
Do you want me to go get them?
Yeah, go get them.
All
it's
right.
part of the story.
It is part of the story.
You didn't show them to me. I was like, did she not give you them? At least you got something out of it.
She did give them to me.
Are they hilarious?
They're pretty funny, yeah.
All right, guys, we're gonna wait for a second while Hope gets these thingies. If you didn't see at the end there, Hades died of the common cold after he escaped from hell. I mean, Zagreus died of the common cold after he escaped from Hades. And that was my 35th completion of the game.
Nice.
Yeah.
So she holds them out to me, and she's like, "Here, take one." So I take one. She's like, "Choose something."
Oh wait, we're doing the gay thing with Thanatos. Nice. I'm gonna turn it up. We're gonna do the gay.
The gay.
Just tell me one thing, Zach. Did you really mean what you told me before, that maybe we ought to take our time?
Ooh, get Stevie. Comfort him.
Do it.
Comfort him.
I know all this is kind of a lot, and I wanted you to know this isn't some impulsive thing for me. I'll wait for you however long it takes.
Wow, he's such a nice guy.
Oh my god, this is adorable.
He's such a nice guy.
Concept of which impulses to act upon and which to keep in check. You say you'll wait. Well, let me ask you this: what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? I'm here already. Right?
This is adorable.
Fan. Oh, you're right.
Wow.
It's so sincere.
Whoa. Wow.
Oh shit.
Interesting.
That was a gay sex scene.
Well, that was, huh?
Hey.
Later.
Nice.
Speak up already. I don't like it when you're quiet for too long. What's on your mind?
A lot of things, and you will have to grow to like it, Zach. What I mean is, don't take my silence the wrong way, alright?
He sounds like he.
I better get going, though.
Yeah.
See you again.
He seems like he was pretty happy with the aftermath of that, though. That's a
yeah,
that's a
definitely.
pleased motherfucker right there.
That's a happy fuck.
It is.
Nice.
I chose him.
That was pretty cute.
Ayo. Excellent. See, he's got the little arrow, so that's how I knew I would be able to fuck him.
Ah.
Because him and Megara. She looks dumb. I don't like her.
Yeah.
She's fucking lame. People be standing her, and I'm like, why? She's a fucking
I
Sudari.
guess,
Who cares?
you know, people like that.
Thanatos is doper. The boatman. Let's see, and then there's others of note. Deuce, God damn it. Flip around. Where'd Deuce go?
It's others in, yeah, she's in there.
Deuce has the arrow. But no one else has the arrow.
But, like, you see what I mean? Like, she's
Yeah,
she's
but
drawn as, like, a
adorable.
joke character, right?
But she's cute.
Okay.
And everyone shits on her all the time.
No.
She is treated like shit. That is the story of Deuce. She's the maid.
just dunked on.
Mhm.
Great. Well, that was
Nice.
nice.
Cool.
Whoa, that was
I'm
that
gay.
made me nostalgic for being a
Yay.
Fujoshi in middle school.
I was
Wow.
saying it's some pretty Tumblr shit.
That was
Some
huh.
awesome Fujo shit. Pretty good at the harp now, by the way. I haven't mastered it yet, I guess, but he's gotten pretty good.
Nice.
It makes sounds. And I
Makes
try to,
nice sounds.
I try to play it 3 times every time I come through. Yeah, it makes good sounds. I
Nice.
feel like turning it up though.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so I was
to the
being
story.
gifted. I was being gifted art from this young lady. So the first image I got to choose is this right here. It says "fuck Trump."
Oh no. Nice. I love how low res it is.
Yeah. So this is all clearly
It's
art.
like not a good print at all.
She's collected from the internet, printed out on photo paper, and hands out as part of whatever this ritual that I'm participating in is.
Mhm.
So I was like, huh, all right, cool, you know. And so she's like,
Can't disagree with that.
I mean, I was like, well, at this point, I'm just being entertained. I'm just like, well, what's gonna happen next? You know, I've already got this glitter stuck all over my hand. So what's next on the docket? And so she pulls out another a series of cards, except
Yeah.
this time she turns them down, and she tells me to randomly choose one. And so I this time I got Mermaid Against Misogyny.
Mermaid against misogyny.
Mermaid Against Misogyny.
It's very Steven Universe.
Yeah, very.
It's definitely
It's got
a
a
gender non-binary
chubby,
mermaid.
non-binary, queer, some sort of, because there are like scars and things going on here. But again, art that is definitely stolen from a different artist.
Some Tumblr artist.
So like, I don't approve of stealing other people's art to make money, obviously, but this is quite the interesting series of events that I'm taking part in, so I keep participating.
It's endearing.
It's very endearing. It's very strange. And so she's like, all right, one more. And she hands me another set of images and asks me to choose one more. So this time I got
Oh no.
trans people have always existed.
Nice.
So here's
This
trans
is true.
people have always existed.
Objectively true. Cool.
Yeah. Again, you know, stolen from who I believe to be a different artist. Because none of these art styles have anything in common, so I'm fairly certain she did not
True.
draw them.
I mean, they're kind of similar.
No.
I think they're more similar than you give credit for. Like, they have similar blush.
I don't think so.
And, like, yeah, I guess the outlines aren't quite
These are, yeah, these two styles are very different.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this is complete, like, this is all very clearly stolen art. However, you know, I do not approve of stealing other people's art and trying to profit off of it, but this is kind of a case that is not the norm.
Yes.
So she proceeds to give me the spiel about how she's trying to make some extra money so that she can go to Target and buy some more glitter and performance
Just love that
supplies.
it's specifically Target, that you were informed that
She
I
told me
need to go to
Target
Target.
specifically and that she was gonna go buy glitter. So she pulls out her Square reader attached to her cell phone. And I'm just like, it's such a whirlwind of like activity. Like my order is up, so I need to go grab my drink. This is happening as I'm talking to this woman on the hoverboard, having just been gifted a bunch of stolen art. My hand is covered in glitter, and so I was just like, you know what? All right, fuck it. And I give her some money, and that's how I was grifted $40 outside of a coffee store in Richmond,
God.
and all I got in return was some stolen art.
Some jank-ass trans art.
But you know,
The low-res prints.
your initial thought, you know, would be to be upset that you have been grifted, but simultaneously, you know,
You got an experience.
I got an experience that I can say I've never had before, and financially, I am more comfortable this year than I have been in my entire life. This is clearly a less fortunate person who has crafted a very specific show to try and earn some extra money. You know, this is someone who probably comes from a place that is less privileged than me. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. It's Christmas time.
Yeah.
We're just gonna say it's
And at that point, what are you
an
gonna
act
do?
of kindness out into the world. Because, you know, if you wanted to be a dick, you could go on PayPal and dispute the charge.
Oh.
You know?
Eh.
Like, you could. You
Yeah,
could.
That's so lame.
But, like, at this point, we're gonna call it an interesting experience, an act of kindness out into the world for someone who may be having a harder time than I am. And it was very interesting. So, I mean, I got to have an interesting experience with a very unique person. And got some stolen art, but it's a pretty fun story. And I had glitter all over my hand for the next hour.
You need to find some kind of display for those.
Right?
It's good that you bought a story, you know?
I bought a story.
And
That's
evidence
true.
of the story. It's fun when you have a souvenir of a crazy story.
Yes. I just wish I had gotten a picture of her. That would have completed it for me. But hey, you know, I can't even be mad.
Fun times.
I can't even be mad about that, you know?
Reminds me, I want to ask to, especially our people who don't live in the U.S., about, like, the density you have of, like, fucking beggars outside of convenience stores. Because, like, everywhere, I feel like everywhere in America, but especially around our area, like, anywhere you go that's a Wawa or 7-Eleven, those are convenience stores. For those of you who don't live around here. But, like, anytime you go out of a convenience store, there's someone who's debatably homeless, asking you for money or change or something, you know? Or, oh, I need money for gas. There's always a story about how they have to catch the bus and they don't have enough money. Or they need gas for their car, but there's no car around. Or they're homeless and whatever. There's always some kind of story, and they always want money from you.
Yeah.
And I'm curious if it's the same, like, everywhere as it is here, because it's like literally every time you go to a fucking convenience store, there's someone out there asking you for something.
I'm sure in a lot of first world country, like, cities, like metropolitan areas, that's probably pretty common.
It's just like I couldn't imagine it happening in, like, Japan.
Yeah. But
So
that's
it's like I
because in
wonder
Japan,
like what cultural differences there are with
the
that.
homeless situation, as we've described, is like the homeless people are real ass mentally unstable.
Yeah.
Like real need
they're, like,
help kind of guys.
Really far gone when you see them. You see
like
they're like
standing with their
stumbling
pants
around,
down
like,
in the middle of the subway.
Yeah.
Like you can tell they need help.
Yeah.
It's not just some dude in a ratty hoodie sitting outside of a 7-Eleven.
Yeah, but besides that, your story just reminds me of the other day. Like, you know, I get asked by these people outside 7-Eleven all the time, and no one carries cash, so what can you do? You know, you can't give anyone anything. But the other day, this guy comes up to me while I'm walking to the 7-Eleven, he goes, "Hey, man, will you buy me a Coke?" And I was just like, "A Coke? You want a Coke?" He's like, "Yeah, I gotta just get, like, a bottle of Coke." And I was like, "Yeah, I'll buy you some Coke," because no one has ever asked me outside of a 7-Eleven for food or a beverage or anything. It's always, can I have money? Can I have change? Can I have cash? Can you do this for me? And it's like, no one has ever asked me for a beverage. So I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah.
And I think
you asked me
that's
for
the
a
thing.
Coke. Like, now I really think you want a Coke, you know? I don't know if you're homeless or anything. You didn't really look homeless, but like, motherfucker asked me for a Coke. I'm gonna get him a Coke.
I think that's the thing is like in our society you have to be so wary. If you give someone money, like I hate to be that doom and gloom person, but like chances are they'll go buy alcohol or something that is not productive
Yeah.
to their day-to-day life. Whereas if someone asks you for food, you're way more likely to be like, oh yeah, obviously, if you're asking me for food, I'll totally buy you food. I'm not just gonna give you $20, but I'll fucking buy you food. Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's, like, you gotta keep in mind in certain situations where it's like, you know, there is a stereotype about, like, they're gonna buy alcohol or whatever, or drugs, and that's not always true, and you shouldn't
It's not
always
always
assume that.
true, but you do kind of get worn down and
Yeah,
become
but there
kind
is,
of
like, you also have to, you shouldn't feel too bad about not giving them anything, in my opinion. This might be a little controversial, but, like, especially I've been to shelters and helped out with feeding the homeless and shit around here. Like, we have plenty of shelters. They do not turn a single person away. Like, I could go there today and go get a full meal at a homeless shelter and they'd ask no questions. Like, they're able to get food, they're able to get a certain degree of shelter. It's only the people who are, like, really, really far gone and won't go to those places that can't get help.
Yeah.
So, like, okay, shit, I hope I didn't just hit the space bar. I gotta go check the recording now.
Oh
Sorry.
shit.
I had the keyboard sitting here and I just, like, smacked it.
Ugh.
Fuck. Where's the computer? What's he do? You asleep?
Ah, yes.
Did we
The
stop
quality
recording a long time ago?
recordings that you get from Vic and Hope.
Oh no, it's on HDMI 2, not PC. That's fine.
Nice.
I'm on the wrong input. Ugh. This TV fucking sucks. Okay, we're still recording, thank God.
Nice.
Now we just had a whole intermission of bullshit. Anyway, yeah, so back to shitting on the homeless people. But yeah, it's just like, that's the thing where it's like, I know you have access to some food if you needed it. A lot of the times the people walking around are near shelters anyways.
Right.
So, like, I don't feel too guilty about, like, not giving money to the homeless when they ask for it, especially because, like, what am I going to do? I don't have any fucking cash. I'm not going to, like, withdraw from an ATM to give you some fucking money, dude. But, like, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's such a weird thing, because it's like, of course I don't want to be mean to people, but it's like, you know, are they doing what they could be doing for themselves to help them get food? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, there's plenty of options around here
It's
for you to
very
get some fucking
tricky,
food.
but it's very, yeah, it's hard. It's
Yeah.
hard to determine what is real need and what is people trying to take advantage of.
Yeah,
other
there's so
people.
many grifters. And, like, I always go back to the story with my aunt who lives in Texas, and
Oh
she
yeah, the
tells
guy
the story
who,
of, like,
yeah.
there was a guy begging or whatever, and, like, he was asking for like money for food, and so my aunt went to McDonald's because she was going to McDonald's anyways, got him a full meal, and then she gave it to him, and he's like, oh, thank you, God bless, or whatever. And then as she's driving away, she sees him chuck it into a gutter. It's like, this guy didn't need food.
Yeah.
He's just out for money. So like, I think there's a degree of people who are like that, and then there's the honest people who you want to help, and
Yeah.
like there's a delicate balance between, like, there's, by my parents' house there was this fucking dude who like sits outside this Taco Bell, and he like sits on his knees and he reads books, and he was there like every day for years. He would be out on the same corner. It's like, I know that guy is homeless. Like, I would love to give that guy Taco Bell, and people give him Taco Bell all the time,
Of course.
and food and money, and it's like, people take care of that guy because you know that guy is homeless because he's there all the time. Whereas most of the people who are outside of 7-Eleven, you'll never see the same person twice, you know? It'll always be some new guy, and they look clean and everything. It's like, these people are coming from the shelter and they don't have anything to do, so they're just going around asking for money all day.
Yeah.
Because they don't what else are they gonna do, you know? And I get it, and it sucks, and like, I have sympathy for homeless, but also like, we have ways of helping them that isn't me giving them 10 cents outside of a fucking 7-Eleven.
Yeah, and I mean,
like,
that's very true. Is simultaneously, it should that burden should not fall on the individual.
yeah.
You know, we should have things set up within our society and the
Yeah.
structure of how our government
And we
is
do.
run to take care of those people.
At least in Virginia we do, and in Hampton Roads we do, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I know it's different by the area. Like, LA obviously is a fucking epidemic of homeless, but like, we don't have a homeless epidemic on that level. Like, we have
No.
adequate space in the shelters, I think, to take care of people.
Yeah. I would say we have a fairly well set up
Yeah.
system for helping those who are like between jobs and homeless.
Yeah, and having talked to and interviewed some of those homeless people, like, from their perspective, it's like the people who like there are people who have their shit together and want to get out, and they'll go through the shelter and they'll stay clean and they'll transition back into society, because like the shelters will help them find jobs, they'll help them get educated if they need to, they'll get them IDs and stuff. Like they hook you up, but you have to stay clean while you're in there, or they'll kick you out.
Right.
And then there's some people who, I guess, especially in Virginia Beach, there are supposedly homeless people who are crazy and live in the woods, and they don't want to not be homeless. Like, they want to be homeless. That's the way they live. They're far gone. Yeah. And it's like, there's these different levels of people where it's like, I don't really have sympathy for the really far gone homeless guy who wants to live in the woods. Like, yeah, sure. Like, I don't mind that.
If you don't want to, and you're happy living out in the woods, then shit, fine. I don't care.
Like, the people who really want to get their shit together have means for which they can uplift themselves.
Definitely.
You know, I don't want to sound too much of like a bootstrapper over here, but like, you know, like if you're not taking advantage of the resources that are provided to you, then like, I don't know.
There's being a person who pull yourself up by your bootstraps, and then there's apply yourself and put effort into obtaining the things that you would like to a reasonable place. Because obviously, most people can't make themselves millionaires, but you can take steps to get your life together, get a job, do the basic things to make sure that you have a good chance of succeeding. Mm-hmm. And some of us are born with more, more advantages in doing that than other people, but you do have to put in that effort before anyone gives you anything.
I think I told this story before, but one of the guys at that fucking homeless shelter that I was doing a documentary thing on was a guy who was homeless because he lost all of his money because he bought too many properties trying to flip them, and then the housing market crashed, and he lost his job and became homeless. And it's like, this guy is homeless because he was trying to be a bootstrapper. Yeah. Like, he thought he was fucking doing his thing and being smart and investing and buying property, and he thought he was going to flip these houses. It's like, he was being a dumbass with his finances.
You gambled and you lost.
He gambled and he lost, and that's why he's homeless. But now he's in a shelter, and they're going to try to, like, he's probably just has to file for bankruptcy or some shit, and, like, there's a path for him to get back, even though he's, like, a, dude's probably, like, 50, but, like, he made his choices that got him where he is. He's not a product of society failing,
Certainly, and I mean, to an extent, you also have to suffer with the repercussions of your actions,
There's just so many different types of people.
Definitely. It's not a one-size-fits-all. I definitely agree.
Let's see. Which one do I want? Do I want to lose 50% of my move speed for 4 encounters and then gain 74 health? I can take extra damage from traps and then get more money. These are your chaos ultimatums you have to decide on, because it'll give you like a huge benefit if you do the challenge. But look how slow I am now! Ah! I'm so slow.
Yeah, that seems pretty punishing. I'm no lie.
It's pretty bad, but it's worth it after you complete the challenge. So I have 4 rooms where I'll be fucking. It's like, oh no, and it's right at the boss. Oh, I fucked up. I didn't know I was right at the boss.
Oh boy.
Oh, this might be it, boys. This might fucking do me in. This is gonna be fucking bad.
Oh, he's so slow.
Oh, this boss, you really need to be, like, jumping around a lot, yeah. Anywho, so I went on a tangent about homeless for a while. I don't even know what got me on that.
So we talked about, my...
Yeah, so we can talk about, the plant buying in that day.
Yeah. So, I came home from, my tattoo experience, and then the next day... I just randomly had the desire to try and get some houseplants and take care of some cute houseplants.
It's Instagram's fault, right? What inspired you to do this?
I don't know.
I was like, you must have saw some plant people on Instagram and got really inspired, which is fine, And
I follow a lot of people who they have like the fucking greenhouse in their living room, and I'm like, I mean, that looks super sick. I suck at taking care of plants.
Is it Marzia?
It was not Marzia. No, it was not.
Yes. Okay, I'm not making fun of you. I love you.
I know.
This is how I feel when I see people with film equipment. That's what Instagram is designed for, is to make you want to indulge in capitalism, and it will try to put that in front of you as much as possible.
That's true. But
As
you
long
know,
as you have healthy self-awareness about it, it's fine. It doesn't matter. We could buy a couple fucking plants. It's not a big deal.
yeah, it's not a big deal.
I would love to eventually have a bunch of plants. I've always thought that was.
I
really
love.
Cool.
I do love the aesthetic of having like a
Yeah.
bunch of plants. I feel like it makes
I don't want to have a
it
backyard
makes the room
garden.
really cozy.
I think
It's
once
nice.
the summer hits, we can start actually planting shit outside. Hey, that was easy.
Nice.
Luckily, I optimized my damage incredibly well, so I was
Oh,
able
dude,
to
nice.
chew through that motherfucker.
Cool.
We're on a good run. We're in a good fucking run.
But yeah, so I found a couple local plant shops so that we're doing our best to support the local economy, buying
Yeah.
our silly bougie plants. But we got a Calathea roseptica.
Honestly,
And...
but we gotta talk about the plant store.
Oh
'cause,
yeah,
like,
well we do.
I honestly, I wouldn't mind not supporting this local business.
Yeah, I definitely think
We
from
just
now
gotta go
on...
back to the McDonald's Garden Center.
Well,
like,
there's one in Ghent we didn't check.
yeah, we should check that place, see if they're
So
cool.
I was actually gonna go there tomorrow after work.
Because
and
like the
just,
Garden
see what
Center
they
is a
have.
local place. It's not like it's
Is
not
it?
local.
It's not a
Yeah.
chain?
No, I don't think it's a chain. It's a local place.
Well, okay. So we went to a plant shop in Virginia Beach
It's
near
called
the
the Plant Bar,
oceanfront.
guys. Guess what the Plant Bar is? Do you know what makes it a plant bar? So you go in.
This is my
And it's
my
like-
problem for trying to support
I mean, I'm
local businesses.
exaggerating. I'm making fun of them because it is like douchey shit. It's like the most LA thing that could
They were
possibly
pretty
exist
fucking-
around here.
douchey.
And it's in Virginia Beach, so it's no fucking surprise. This is
Yeah.
what Virginia Beach is like. Norfolk is where all the fucking the
hoity-toity.
hipsters are. Virginia Beach is all the bougie, hoity-toity shit. But like, it's called a plant bar, so you're like, oh, what the fuck is a plant bar? What is?
I just
what is-
assumed that was a cool way to say it was a plant shop.
Yeah,
Like, honestly.
but you go in and like 4 times at least, someone walked up and said their thing is that they give you complimentary mimosas. And so,
Complimentary
like,
drinks.
Yeah, complimentary drinks, but they offer their
Hence plant
mimosas,
bar.
and they go, "Hey, how are you doing? Can we help you? Do you want a mimosa? Can we get you a mimosa? Has someone helped you? Have you gotten a mimosa?" And it's just like, "I don't want a fucking mimosa. I just want to look at plants." And you're in this tiny place, and there's 3 employees. Like, there's 4 floor salesmen in this little plant shop offering you fucking mimosas, and there's all these fucking white ladies walking around. You're like, "Oh my god, leave me alone!"
Well, like, here's the most frustrating thing. Is, like, yeah, 4 people offered us mimosas in the time that we were there. But when I actually asked an employee and said, hey, we're trying to get into having houseplants. I've never done this before. Do you mind
Yeah.
recommending a couple things for us? She acted like I was being a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
And
she
I'm
was
like,
super weird.
so everyone in the world wants to come bug us about having a mimosa, but when I have an actual question about what you recommend for new people who are trying to get into the thing that you sell here, you're gonna act like I'm fucking burdening you? Why?
Yeah.
You know, you're the expert. I want some of your expertise, and you're just like, I don't know, you could do like this or this or this. All right, and then walk away. And I'm like,
Yeah,
Well,
and it's like your
alright,
whole thing
fine.
is you're like a salesman in here, and we're asking for help, but then like it's the whole reason we want to go to a local place so we could get that like customer
the
experience
local
with
charm.
it. Yeah,
the
local
whole
charm.
point.
And then they were just like, she just seemed like a total fucking.
She was just like,
total dick.
I can't believe you're gonna make me talk about plants to you.
And everyone in there
Jesus.
just seemed like young hires. They're probably underpaid.
Well, like,
The place is kind of shit.
It's totally like your age is not the issue. The issue is
well,
that
there's
you're
certain
pushing
attitudes.
fucking getting people mimosas, but you won't actually tell me about plants. Like, bitch,
Yes.
come on
Honestly,
now.
whenever I walk in and there's like a college-age blonde girl working there, I just assume she's gonna be kind of a bitch and kind of gonna give
She
me shit
was kind of a
bitch. Because it's always like that same looking girl that's just like doesn't really give a fuck.
Yeah.
Or they have like a fake customer service attitude about them or something. They just seem kind of
Yeah.
pretentious. I don't know. Like I experienced this person quite a bit in like these bougie places.
Yeah. So, like, that being said, I do want to try the place in Ghent, because
Yeah.
usually there's better luck with Norfolk than in
Yeah.
Virginia Beach, but they were pretty fucking pretentious.
It's like, lady, you should assume that like anyone in here is ready to throw down on some plants.
Right?
Like,
It's
show me
I
some
came
fucking
here
plants.
Because I was gonna buy some plants.
Like, I
but,
came in here fully
alright.
knowing I was buying some fucking overpriced plants. You can at least make me feel justified in buying
You
overpriced
can at least
plants.
be like, hey, what do you what aesthetic do you like? Because
Yeah.
if you like this is a good starter plant. If you like this, do. Like,
Yeah,
I know you know this shit, clearly,
Exactly.
but You'd
it was
rather
almost that like aura of elitism where it's like you
Yeah.
don't know about plants already.
right?
Why'd you
It's
walk
that,
in
like,
here?
Why are you here if you don't know anything about plants? Like, yeah, how dare I come in here and ask a plant expert
All
about
these-
what a good starter plant is?
All these
Ooh,
fucking
silly
plant
me.
noobs didn't even do their research before
Jesus,
buying
did
plants.
you even go on WikiHow before you walked in here? Christ.
Oh, I
So
love
yeah,
this.
that place kind of sucked.
I
But
love the aesthetic of the pretentious plant people. It's like, fuck off.
it's like, bitch, this is houseplants. Chill.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Mhm.
We got a Calathea roseptica and a
Yeah.
oh god.
So we ended up getting an easy
Sparkling
mode plant
Sarah.
and like one of the most difficult fucking plants imaginable.
I chose the very easy plant, and
Yeah.
Victor chose the plant that's very finicky.
Because I was kind of hoping, I was like, we established that we are noobs, so maybe if I get something that's finicky, like I could tell it was going to be finicky, but I was like, maybe they'll warn us, and they didn't.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh yeah, you're going to have to do this, this, and this. I'm like, alright, well that sounds like a pain in the ass, but I like this plant, so I'm going to get it, fuck you, whatever.
And of course, like when you walk in, they sell pots and shit, so you can like they're like, oh yeah, we'll pot your plant for you
Yeah.
if you buy a pot and a plant. And when we go to check out, lady's like, do you want us to pot these for you? Like, we're putting her out by asking her to fucking repot these
Yeah.
plants. It's like, you made it clear that you pot the plants for us when we're here, and they're gonna be like, oh, you're really gonna make me repot these fucking plants?
But then the guy who was potting the plant looked like he was having a blast.
He was just like
chilling.
going to town. And,
Like, give me that fucking guy. I don't want to deal with this fucking lady. Jesus. This girl who's probably fucking younger than me.
Oh, definitely.
Or around our age. She wasn't that young, I don't know.
It's just
20s, you know, somewhere in the 20s.
like, just the attitude.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh god, alright, fine.
Just shit people, shit attitudes, as always.
But
What can you expect?
we got some cool plants. They're neat.
Yeah.
I like them. They're good boys.
It just sucks being a socially awkward millennial who's intimidated to go into anything. Just like, just be welcoming to me, please. I want to get into this. How am I supposed to have a hobby if everyone's a douchebag everywhere?
Yeah.
But we had another interesting thing happen that day. Before that,
yeah.
if you want to tell that
Fucking
story.
classic
That was fun.
Virginia Beach.
Yeah.
So before we went to the plant shop, we went to this coffee shop down there that's actually really good. They have some fucking good ass coffee and some
Yeah,
good
they
ass
don't have a good
biscuits.
mocha, honestly.
No.
But I think I feel like it's out of hate because they're very pretentious.
They are
At least they used to be. Like, they didn't used to have a mocha. And I'm a mocha boy, guys. I like my sweets. I like my mochas, but there's it's like General Tso's chicken. It's completely different depending on where you go. Like, everyone does it absolutely differently, and some people do it really good and clearly respect the mocha, and a lot of people do not respect the mocha at all, and they think you're being a little bitch by getting a mocha, and they make it like shit. And that's one of those places where it's just like, this is just a, like, let's be real, this is a chocolate milk. Like, you've given me a chocolate milk, but they're one of the
'Cause you're a
places like,
baby.
they're all about their black coffee and their perfect roast, so it's like, they probably were like, hey, fuck you got a mocha, eat shit, bitch. But, yeah. And I feel like they have a lot of young hires who don't really know what the fuck they're doing. Oddly enough,
I mean,
because I know some of them.
Oh, you do?
Yes. Anyways, the one guy I did the video for, I'll tell you later.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry about it.
Whatever.
That's part of
Anyway.
why I try to avoid going there, because I know people who work there.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know
I thought
you
you
knew
knew.
anyone that worked there.
Yeah. Not that I'm just socially awkward,
Yeah.
but
I mean, they have good lattes, so
yeah.
for me, it's not a problem.
Their mocha's not good.
But,
Anyways, that's besides the point of the
so
story.
anyway, we had gotten our coffee and we were chilling at a table outside.
God, look how fast I beat those motherfuckers! Yes! Damn! Damn! Crushed! I am gonna fuck Hades up with this build. Jesus Christ. Alright, sorry. I interrupted you. I was just very excited about how fast that battle was.
Yeah, I noticed. So we're chilling there, we're drinking our drinks, and directly across from us is this table full of like 4 girls, and they're all just hanging out shooting the shit. And out of nowhere, so for reference, this area of Virginia Beach has a lot of like open air outdoor shops, and people frequently bring their dogs through. So it's not unusual to see a dog here. So out of nowhere, this like good solid medium-sized dog comes like bolting through the back patio, and it runs up to these 4 girls and it's like, hey, what's going on? What's going on? And it immediately jumps up on top of their table, and all of them are like, oh, hi, okay. And like, the dog is obviously really friendly. They're interacting with the dog. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, I feel like this isn't their dog. Like, I feel like the dog has no collar, no leash. They're being friendly with the dog, and the dog is friendly, but it doesn't seem like an interaction you'd have with your dog or a dog that you know personally. So I'm like, this is kind of weird. Like, I wonder what's going on. And the dog is like, hanging out on the table, being super goofy. And eventually the girls are like, does anyone know whose dog this is? The dog is still on the table, and they're just kind of like, does this dog belong to anybody? We don't see anyone, like, running up looking for a dog. No one looks like they're searching for a dog, so it's just kind of like, huh, okay, well, this is strange. And the dog, like, eventually gets bored of hanging out with them and, like, jumps down and jumps up on the table of the people who were sitting behind them, knocking over this guy's coffee.
Yes.
And the guy's like,
phone.
oh, damn it! And it spills on his phone. And he's like, oh, someone come get this dog! And you can tell he's, like, really pissed off. So, like, this dog is, like, no one knows, and then the dog, like, jumps down from that table and starts, like, approaching other dogs
and
that are, like, on leash.
Like, there were so many people that it was like, oh, well, that must be its owner. That must be its owner. No one is this dog's owner.
No one seems to be, like, no one seems to know whose dog this is. No one's taking responsibility.
Like, there was a tall, crazy white lady, you know, she looked like a Karen. I was like, oh, it's probably her dog. She looks like a fucking hippie who wouldn't put her dog on a leash. Nope, not her dog.
No, not her dog. And the dog is, like, approaching other dogs, and the dogs that are on leash are making it very clear that they don't want to be approached by this dog. So, like, people, like, luckily, these people have pretty small dogs, and so it's easy for them to just scoop the dog up.
But every small dog
it.
is aggro and a fucking piece of shit.
But of course it's like, you know, it's pissed off that it's being approached by this other big dog. Mm-hmm. And so finally, one of the girls, I think, was it one of the girls who was originally sitting at that table next to us?
No, it was one, because there was the other restaurant next to it.
Oh, yeah, so I guess a patron from the restaurant next door had like, a part of a leash in her car or in her purse. And she pulls it out and, like, just loops it through to make a makeshift loop, and, like, loops the dog. And she's hanging on to the dog, and everyone's just kind of, like, looking around, and everyone's like, has anyone called animal control? Did anyone call animal control? Did you call animal control? And they're all, like, asking each other if anyone has called animal control.
Well, they all specifically started asking you because you got your phone out. They're like, are you calling animal control?
Well, I heard them saying this, and so finally I was like, all right. And so I pull my phone out, and I call animal control. And then, like, I'm on the phone with animal control, and dudes are looking at me like, are you calling animal control? And I'm like, yeah. No, I'm calling my mom right now. Like, what do you...
Yes.
Sure. So I call animal control, and Vic and a couple of the girls take turns holding on to the dog because it's a really strong dog.
It's like these tiny girls trying to hold this.
Yeah, it's like these little thin
rough dog,
girls,
and then
the dog is like a muscular, like 50-ish pound dog, so it's pretty strong. And I was
like, okay, it's dragging these girls around, so I get it, and I fucking like rope the leash around my arm tight, and then I pick him up and I try to lift his hind legs so he can't kick off the ground, and that held him pretty good.
Yeah, she seemed to do pretty well with that.
And so I got the dog under control. It was just mostly just staring at the other dogs.
Yeah, it was mostly just like, oh.
But like, yeah, the animal control guy finally comes, and I guess it was like it's a serial escape artist.
Yeah,
so
it seems like the dog belonged to someone who lived in the apartments behind the shop, and the dog just gets out all of the time, and it's nothing abnormal. So animal control picked up the dog, and you know, that way when that person figures out that dog is missing, they can head down to animal control and pick him up.
But we got the classic white people response of like the animal control comes and gets the dog, and then there's like a little golf clap from everyone around us, and they're like, yeah! And then they're all like, thank you guys did so good. To be in hope. Like we're the heroes of the day,
all
you know?
I did was call animal control?
Like, yes, we had the bravery to call animal control.
It's like,
wow, thank you guys.
Clearly, for some reason, everyone here is scared to call animal control.
I felt like I needed to take a fucking bow and just be like,
fucking dude. White people are fucking
It's super funny in this situation. I feel like this happened to me another time. I don't remember when, but it's like the fucking everyone claps at the end. Oh,
and then
situation
everyone
resolved.
Clapped.
Yep. Oh man. Then the next day we got to go to a coffee shop, and in the middle of the freezing cold there's like a chess tournament happening. Guys, are you seeing this new trend now? Because chess is blowing up on Twitch, and Queen's Gambit is out, and that's about chess, that now all the cool hipsters are playing chess. I keep seeing in all these coffee shops like of 6'1" white guys playing chess. And so there's like this tournament outside this coffee shop of 6'1" white guys.
It's millennial dads.
Yeah, millennial dads playing chess.
They're having their time to shine.
With all their wives sitting around watching.
It's like, yeah, it's always the millennial dad and then like the mom moving, like they're with the stroller. It's like 2 or 3 different millennial mom dad combos out there in the cold playing a chess tournament outside of this coffee shop that we went to.
Yeah. There's something obnoxious about chess people. Like, it always just looks like a bunch of guys with their heads up their ass, like, who think they're so cool because they know chess.
Chess it's only acceptable to want to play chess if you are somewhere and there happens to be a chessboard and you're both just like, oh yeah, let's play chess. If you go somewhere with the intention of playing chess, it's a little pretentious, right?
Because it's such a pretentious smart man's game where it's just like, oh, you gotta study it and know all these rules and the setups and the plays and it's so intelligent and highbrow.
Oh.
And it's just kind of the thing where it's like, oh, I gotta look like the smartest guy in my friends group, so I need to learn how to play chess better than the other guys, you know? Because God forbid anyone be more intelligent than me.
None are smarter than I am.
That's just the aura I feel from the chess players.
Yeah. And I mean, it's always funny because, especially this particular chess meetup that we were experiencing at the time, it's like only dudes playing.
Yeah.
All the girls are just watching. And it's like, there's no way they find this entertaining.
They're all tall, thin, white guys. It's a thing. It's important to point out to me. It's that they're all tall, thin, white guys.
Millennial dads.
They're very homogenous. Millennial dads, indeed.
Oh, Jesus.
We are fucking crushing it right now. Boom, dead, done. Boof. Time. I didn't do fast in anything else though. I just did the bosses really fast. That was an awesome build. I've never had the I had ice and poison cast combined and it was really cool and it created like ice vortexes that instantly went out. It was really neat.
Cool.
Oh, we did pretty good though.
Dude, nice.
I think it was my best sword time, maybe? Yeah. My best time with the sword. With still a minute behind my record with the twin fist. Because I wasn't rushing through it. We were hanging out and chilling and talking.
Yeah.
But nice. I'll try to go for that build again because it was quite good.
Nice.
Alright, another dual Hades completion session. Do we have any more things to talk about?
I was gonna talk about some movies we watched recently.
Well, let's fucking keep it going then.
Alright.
Fungus.
Fungus.
He stepped
So
on a
rare
toxic
you'd
fungus
not
and
have
he
heard
died.
of it.
Nice. You missed the last time we beat it. He died of the common cold.
Yeah, no, I read it.
Yeah. Excellent.
I
I enjoy all the unique death text.
Nice.
I'm sure there's fucking hundreds. There's just so much unique text in this game. It's insane.
Feels like it's been a while, everybody.
House of Hades.
Ooh. New unique text.
Oh, she's a new outfit.
Nice. She's talking about my relationship with Thanatos.
Oh, nice. She's proud of her son.
Hey, she's happy
like,
that
"Good
I'm
job."
gay. Nice.
Nice, dude. Cool.
Oh, everyone's
Mom's
talking about
proud
it
of
now.
you.
To seek you out. I was very concerned.
I think so. I hope so. It was complicated for a while there, but I think things are clear.
Oh, on the contrary.
We're so gay now.
Feels so gay.
I don't know Thanatos particularly well. Wasn't he who brought me here, you see?
He is.
Achilles is a fan.
Everybody ships him, dude.
Yep. I could tell, like, even though I haven't read all the fucking dialogue, you can tell it's one of those where it's like, oh, everyone hated each other at first, but now everyone's friends after you brought them together by being a good boy.
Everyone's being nice to each other.
Yeah, everyone's good boys now. Yeah, I get a bunch of keys so we can buy a bunch of nectars. Alright, what movies did we watch?
So, we've been on a bit of a Charlie Kaufman kick here recently,
Oh,
wouldn't
yeah.
you say?
Yeah.
Ugh.
This is good because I was never a fan, never watched much of his stuff because I'd only seen Synecdoche, New York, which is
Synecdoche, New York.
a fucking lot, which now I'm tempted to rewatch it because it's been, you know, forever and like, you know, maybe we'd like it more now after seeing his other movies and kind of knowing what he's about.
He can be a bit dense.
Yeah.
I won't lie about that part. But, I mean, it started really when we watched I'm Thinking of Ending Things.
Yeah, that was good.
I'm Thinking of Ending Things was like really, really great. Especially like we talked about, probably with that little bit of context, it really brings it all together, and you're like, oh yeah, I totally get it. And I mean, aesthetically and shot wise, it is of course beautiful.
Kaufman movies are often things where like they're not that confusing.
You just aren't given the full context.
Like, yeah, he doesn't give you the full context, but then once you do get the full context, it clicks very quickly and you go, oh, I get the entire movie now. I just needed that, like, snippet of knowledge to know what was going on. Even though his earlier movies that he just wrote and he didn't direct don't really feel that way. Especially the ones that he directed, like, Synecdoche, New York, and fucking I'm Thinking of Ending Things.
Right.
But, his earlier movies he didn't direct. He wrote the screenplay for them.
Mm.
But, yeah, so what else? What do we watch?
So, first, we watched Being John Malkovich.
Yeah, that one was really good.
Malkovich.
I enjoyed Being John Malkovich a lot. A lot more than I thought I was going to.
what is Being John Malkovich about, Victor?
That was about, like, this dude at work finds this tunnel that goes into the brain of John Malkovich, and basically he is able to pilot him as a robot at first with no control, and he's just seeing through his eyes and experiencing his experiences without any control. But then the main guy, who is a puppet master, is eventually able to pilot him like a Gundam.
Like a Gundam.
Like a Titan.
Yes.
And experience life as John Malkovich. And that's what it's about.
Well, I mean, there are other things that complicate it, of course.
Yeah.
But it is a really, really interesting movie, and of course, the more Charlie Kaufman you watch, the more it becomes very clear that everything he writes is just about himself.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, all of these movies are just about Charlie Kaufman, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But they're very cool. Very, very interesting movie. It's on Netflix if you are interested in watching it.
I'd recommend it for anyone because it's not super dry. It's pretty fast-paced and funny and cool, and like it never drags really.
It's got some interesting elements to it. Yeah, like the fact the main character is a puppeteer, and there's of course commentary about being a failure as an artist making the art you want to make, and feeling jealous of people who are able to succeed in your medium. Then there's also like commentary on like the things he kind of comments on are always really interesting to me, because sometimes there's like very female kind of influence takes, like especially the girl who he teams up with as like a business partner, because they start selling the experience of going down this tunnel and being John Malkovich for 15 minutes. And she ends up in this like weird relationship where she's in love with the puppeteer's wife, but only when she's controlling John Malkovich. So she has to be controlling his body, and then she'll like hang out with John Malkovich or fuck John Malkovich, but she knows that it's the puppeteer's wife.
Yeah.
And it's this really interesting dynamic where it's like a power dynamic, but also like, and then the wife has like that wish fulfillment dynamic of like being in someone else's body. Like it almost could be a transgender thing.
It definitely was, because it was in particular, it was very specific about her being in a male body and sort of like receiving the respect that males get just from like being a tall man that people love. And I guess it was also a celebrity thing.
Yeah,
where, like,
it's definitely a lot to do with celebrity.
Yeah, people treat him differently, and so like everyone, like they start selling being John Malkovich and like and making it so people can pay to be in his body, and everyone's just like, everyone finds their own reason to be in love with it, whether it's being male or being famous and having people treat you a certain way. It's just like, because he's a generic representation of like the ideal like American dream lifestyle of like being a successful, rich, tall, handsome man, you know, and like in commanding that sort of respect from people, just being treated inherently better for who he is.
Yeah, and like all these people project a different thing onto their experience when they are John Malkovich, but it's everyone gets something different out of it, and it's exploring what those people are getting out of that experience. Like the puppeteer gets you know, he gets to be respected for his craft. When he's John Malkovich, people take his puppetry seriously, as opposed to when he's outperforming it on the street. And he's doing like weird puppet sex stuff, and everyone's just kind of like, they're like, there's a guy who walks by and like covers his kid's eyes, and he's like, "Oh, you fucking freak!"
Because he's trying to make art, but he's doing it as street performances.
He's doing it as like a street performance, and people are like, "What the fuck?" Yeah. But when he's John Malkovich, people take it seriously.
Yeah, because people already, you know, they see it through the appropriate lens of like, of thinking of him as a genius to begin with, so like they see through it without their
so it's
biases.
Recontextualized into being art, as opposed to some weird pervert on the street.
Yeah, which is true of any fucking art. Like, any celebrity can do a new thing, and like it's gonna be brilliant because of who they are, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, unless they're a woman, and it's probably gonna be criticized heavily. But
tough shit.
Exactly. Yeah, lots of identity exploration and themes of control and things like that.
And then there's also the plot of the guy who runs the 16th and a half floor, who him and like all these old people are waiting until John Malkovich is 44. Because when he turns 44, they all go down the John Malkovich tunnel and are like reincarnated into possessing his body so that they can live forever. So it's like, not only do you have the plot of like the puppeteer and the lady who he's in love with, who's actually in love with his wife, and the old people who want to possess John Malkovich's body when the time is right so they can live forever. And like the 16th and a half floor, which is like kind of a character, but it's like just one of those little side things where it's like not necessarily important, but it's interesting and it adds another layer. And like the set design of the 16th and a half floor, where everything is like short and everyone's always crouching down and like waddling down the hallways and stuff. It's just like a really unique, really interesting movie.
And it's just brilliant in the way that it thoroughly explores its absurd idea and gives you all those different side plots and things, and just like goes in, you know, it's unapologetic. It doesn't try to explain why at all, you know, it's just like it just is what it is, and it goes, and it's a fun ride. And it stays with you, you know, and it feels like a movie that you wouldn't mind watching again.
Yeah.
Just not something you can say about a lot of movies.
Yeah, I mean it's nice. It definitely has a lot to think about and a lot to say, which is always nice to have every once in a while in a movie.
Yeah.
You know, something that isn't fucking trash garbage.
Would recommend.
Definitely would recommend. And so after that, we watched Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, starring Jim Carrey, with the original Manic Pixie Dream Girl, yes?
Yeah, which, I mean, you know, debatably, but to me, it seems like one of the earliest.
One of the earlier examples of the trope, for sure. Before your Ramona Flowers, and you know, before Ramona Flowers ruined Western civilization, as everyone loves to say.
True. I'm going to say, way before Ramona Flowers. I mean, between this and, like, 500 Days of Summer is kind of, like, the manifestation
but
of
wasn't 500 Days of Summer after this?
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
But, yeah, this one was first, but then that one, like, Zooey Deschanel, that's Zooey Deschanel's christening as the Manic Pixie Dream Girl, you know, it's in 500 Days of Summer.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so you hadn't known really anything about this movie.
I did not really know much about this movie at all.
Which I just assumed you had a cultural awareness of it, because it's just like as a film guy, like obviously I know all about this movie and like I've seen analysis and shit, and like generally knew about the themes and ideas and like the premise of it, which was surprising, like how far into the movie you get before it really reveals that premise.
Yeah.
So I just assumed it was earlier on, because I had tried to watch this movie probably senior year of high school or first year of college, and like I fell asleep really early on because it starts off really dry.
Yeah.
And it's surprising because after that first like 20 minutes or so, it picks up.
It really picks up.
Like, and it has subplots and all the shit going on. And so like I really didn't know that it was going to be so interesting after like having fallen asleep to it a long time ago and thought I had seen more of the movie than I actually had.
Yeah, when in reality you had watched about 20 minutes of it.
Yeah, so I'm really glad we went back and rewatched it because I did like it a lot this time.
Yeah. I have a huge like movie cultural blind spot for like those those more serious drama early 2000s movies, because again, my parents, super conservative, super Christian. I didn't have a TV or cable in my room. We really only went to see like age-appropriate movies in theaters, so I was completely reliant on media that I was able to consume at my best friend's house. For any kind of awareness outside of like fucking Christian media, you know, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, Lord of the Rings, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, like, my earliest idea of it was, like, because I knew about Jim Carrey, and, like, because I had seen the number 23 when that came out, you know?
The number 23!
And, like,
not
that's
movie.
not good. And, like, I had heard of Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind being his other not good Jim Carrey drama role, and, oh, Jim Carrey's not good at being dramatic and all that shit. So I had only heard about it as it being not a good movie. And then, like, later on, I had heard about it being, like, a masterpiece, you know, because he started talking to film people, and everyone interested in film loves Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. It's a complete masterpiece, which it is a really good movie,
It's
you
really
know?
good, yeah.
And now I get it more. But, like, so it was always like, okay, is it not good or is it good? I'm not really sure. It seems boring to me. And then, like, I'm not really interested in the romance aspect of it.
Right.
And, like, now that I've seen, I'm like, that seems like the
It's not even really the point.
Yeah, it's not the point.
necessarily.
It's kind of lesser importance. Like, the characters aren't very developed at all.
Yeah.
It's more of the
They're pretty
ideas that are
two-dimensional.
developed. Yeah, they're very two-dimensional. And I don't know if that's on purpose or it's just not explored. I think it's based on a book, actually. I think it's a book adaptation.
I think you're right.
Because, Kaufman is credited for, like, the screenplay, which usually when they say that, it's because it's an adaptation.
Right.
Or it would say, like, written by or story by Kaufman.
Right.
Because he didn't direct it, he just did the screenplay, and I think it was an adaptation. So that has something to do with it. But, yeah, it just has a lot less of a focus on their relationship than I thought. It has a lot more subplots going on, and, like...
Yeah,
and
there's a lot of...
It becomes more of an action thriller, sort of fun, set-piece kind of thing the further it goes on.
Definitely. I think the more Kaufman films I see, the more I think I enjoy the, like, themes and, like, the meta of what he's trying to say rather than what literally happens in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I really liked the exploration of, like, memories and what they mean to you, and, like, that option of, like, okay, there's this traumatic thing. If you could erase it, would it be worthwhile? You know?
Yeah.
Would it be worth making... Like, initially you might think, oh, that pain would be gone, that'd be great. But then it's like, all the connectedness of those memories and the way that you changed as a person and those things that they, like, brought together for you, and, like, losing all of that emotional growth and, like, the good things that happened, even if there were, like, bad and traumatic things.
Because
Like,
the harshest part in where the movie turns around for him is when he's going through his memories with the girl and, like, with Clementine. And, like, it starts off with all of the worst memories because he's going, like, backwards chronologically.
Yeah, so,
And
like,
so,
at the end of the dying relationship, back into where things were
and it
fresh
starts off,
good.
you see that they were toxic as fuck. Like, this is a bad relationship.
They were...
It got really bad.
It's
And they
not
eventually,
good.
like, it eventually gets back to the parts that he really, really loved. And, like, as soon as it gets into a memory that's positive, he's like, I don't want this. I want to keep these. I want to keep these.
Right.
Because he was so stuck in, like, the recent memories that were so negative, but that he... You know, when you relive those positive things,
back, you're like, oh.
He has those moments where he was like, I could literally die right now and I would be happy, you know? And, like, I felt that with you a lot, you know?
You
and it's
recontextualize
like,
that entire relationship by working through the bad things and then also remembering the things that were good about it.
Exactly. And it's like, if you could have just stayed in that moment and died in that moment without the relationship becoming this failure, but then when you relive that, it's like, no, I don't want to let go of this at all. And so he starts trying to run and escape. And then the movie, like, once he hits that point, it becomes all about him trying to run and escape in his memories, you know? And it stops kind of being about that initial premise of reliving the relationship, you know?
Yeah.
And I thought that the movie was going to spend a lot more time on reliving the relationship
When
and
it
not
really
as much time.
doesn't.
Yeah. And I'm glad it doesn't, because you don't need to see, like, all of that.
The central conceit is really basically just both, without each other knowing, Jim Carrey, the girlfriend, Clementine, and Jim Carrey's character both hire this agency who can erase, like, a person from your memory.
Yeah.
So Clementine does it first, And then, well, I guess you don't even really know for sure who does it first, because
No,
there is
Clementine
like
did it
fuckery, right?
No, she did it
Clementine
first.
does it first. Okay, so
She did
Clementine
it
does it
first,
first,
and then Jim Carrey
and
found
then
out
he
about
does it as like revenge for her erasing him.
Exactly.
But
I'd say there's a question of whether or not they had already had a
Done that
previous relationship where they
previously.
did that. That's the only question I have.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like,
Then there's almost
in
like-
the context of the story, that is the order they did it in. But there is a possibility that they could have been in a relationship even before the one that were shown in the movie.
And that even brings into question like a fatalistic element
Yeah.
of like, could you never have escaped this relationship? Like, even
Yeah.
if you erased it from your memories, would you have been doomed to repeat it and like come back together in a different
Exactly.
way? Which is another interesting element to this movie that like they touch on a little bit as well.
Yeah.
And then there's also like, first of all, this movie has like an insane cast. It's fucking got,
it's got a
Jim
lot of
Carrey,
classics.
it's got Mark Ruffalo, it's got Elijah Wood, it's got fucking, what's her name from the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies?
Yeah.
I can't remember her name.
Is that who that was? She Mary Jane?
Yes.
Oh!
What is her fucking name?
I was like, this girl looks so familiar.
Yeah,
That explains a lot.
yeah. She's from the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies.
Nice.
I cannot remember her
So
name
she was
for the life
blonde
of
in
me.
this and not a redhead.
Exactly.
Yeah. Interesting.
It'll come to me later, but I mean, it's got like a fucking crazy cast. This is Mark Ruffalo when he's like super young. Mark Ruffalo looks like shit when he was younger.
Yeah, he looks like a fucking douchebag. But it was the 2000s. He looks
It was the
very,
2000s.
very 2000s in this movie. With his
Yeah.
fucking like spiked ass hair.
Yeah,
it's like goofy as
pretty
shit.
bad. But even even past just the Jim Carrey plot where he's trying to escape having his memories erased. There's also the subplots of Mark Ruffalo's character, who is like the memory erasure technician, and he's fucking Mary Jane, and they're like they come and do this procedure in Jim Carrey's house.
And they're all like getting drunk
Which
and
is weird.
smoking
And
weed.
they're all like getting drunk and getting high and eating his food and like having sex on the chair next to his bed.
Yeah. And like they had explained they're doing it in his house because they want him to wake up in his bed with
Right,
no
so they
evidence.
don't
and,
remember
like, so they
anything
have no idea
happened.
that anything ever happened.
And then there's like also the subplot of Elijah Wood's character is taking advantage of the fact that Jim Carrey is erasing his memories of Clementine and trying to like use the things that worked for Jim Carrey to make her attracted to him to get her to fuck him.
Yeah.
And it's just like there's all these like levels of manipulation because also fucking Mary Jane and the doctor who runs the memory erasure clinic, like apparently she had been in love with him and they had sex and she was like, it's too painful, I want you to erase my memories of it. And so he erases her memories of it, but then she still feels those feelings and she fucking learns that he erased her memories, which leads her to like outing him and like giving Clementine and Jim Carrey their memory tapes back at the end of the film.
Yeah, and that plays into the sort of the fatalistic element of the relationships where it's like the girl had her memory erased and she still ended up fucking
Feeling
the doctor
ways
again
she
because
did, yeah.
he was still around. And like it's same thing happened with Jim Carrey and Clementine. They met again, not knowing who each other were after they had gotten their memories erased, and we don't know if that already had happened before. And this is their third time. Like we don't know because like these people are attracted to each other. They keep attracting each other regardless of if they know who each other are, which kind of would naturally happen. If you don't remember who the person is and you found them attractive in the first place, then like why wouldn't you find them attractive again?
Right. Yeah, and you don't remember the bad things that happen. Well, yeah.
So
Seems like it
naturally
may naturally occur again. Mm-hmm. So you do run that risk.
Yeah.
But it's really, really interesting.
Yeah, there's
really
neat
cool
stuff at the beginning of the movie because it starts off with at the end where Jim Carrey has already lost his memories and Clementine has lost her memories, and you see them meeting for the first time, but you don't know they're meeting for the first time again.
Yeah.
You think it's the first time, but it's actually the last time they're meeting, or not the last time they're meeting.
But
in
the most
movie,
recent.
But like, the most recent time. And so Jim Carrey's character is presented as like he's got this diary with nothing in it, and he's just like this aloof guy who doesn't really understand who he is, and it's because like in the parts where he had been in his past, he was going through memories trying to hide Clementine and other memories, so he lost all these memories from his past that were erased in the process, so he like legitimately doesn't remember elements of his childhood and shit.
Right.
And it's very interesting to set that up at the beginning, but like this one more than any other Kaufman movie, it's like it's very easy to recognize that
Yeah.
and go back
This one's
and know.
pretty straightforward.
Yeah, versus like I'm thinking of ending things as like you kind of need to see it twice or have it explained to understand the early context because it's like how could you possibly know the first time? But like this was pretty straightforward with that. It sets you up very easily.
Yeah, definitely one of the more straightforward Kaufman films. I didn't feel like
Yeah.
I needed to watch an explained video afterwards, whereas with I'm Thinking of Ending Things, I was like, I feel like I almost get it, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. Something like with like Synecdoche, New York, it's like there's intense levels of background detail where it's just like where you know, you've seen YMS talk about it, I'm sure, but
Yeah.
like in the starting scene of the movie, there's like calendars in every single shot, and like they're progressing forward with every shot in the background, and like that plays into the themes of the movie and the progression of time. That's what the movie's all about. But like, there's no way you would see that
On
your
the
first time.
go. There's no way
So
it's impossible.
you're missing important context into like the themes and ideas of the movie the first time you watch it that you would never ever know without someone explaining to you or without watching it multiple times and looking for it. You know.
Yeah.
So like you're getting a lesser experience on the first watch through, and the same things with I'm Thinking of Ending Things. It's like it's so hard to get that context that I feel like you're getting a lesser experience the first time you see the movie without an explanation. Eternal Sunshine, I didn't feel that way. It's like okay, you don't need to know, you don't need any prior explanation
watching,
to
you're like,
appreciate
okay,
these
yeah.
things. It's like I appreciate that there's a filmmaker who's willing to do that with his movies, but like it does
Right.
make it frustrating when you're watching. You're like, I have no idea where this is going at all.
Right. Yeah, it makes the actual process of watching it a bit more of a chore.
Yeah.
But they're still pretty rewarding films to watch.
Versus, like, I feel like if you're already spoiled for Synecdoche, New York, it's probably more enjoyable the first time you watch it because you
Yeah.
know what
Because
you know what to
what's
expect.
going on and why.
Versus, like, I didn't know who the fuck Charlie Kaufman was when I watched it. I just heard it was a good movie, and so I watched it, and it was just like, what the
The
hell is
dangers
going
of
on?
just being told something is a good movie.
Yeah. And then by the end, you're like, I get the idea, but like, I wasn't there the whole time, you know?
Yeah.
You're kind of frustrated by the end because you're like, I wish I had just known the premise going into it and knew what to look out for. But yeah, that's some Kaufman. Getting a phone call.
Yeah, I'm ignoring it.
Spam. What else did we watch?
The first Lord of the Rings
Oh
movie?
yeah, we watched the first Lord of the Rings
On a
movie.
completely different note, a much less cerebral, thought-provoking film.
Yeah. I feel it could be fun to do a retrospective on all three of them once it's all over.
Yeah.
Like if we watch all three. But like the first Lord of the Rings movie, honestly, is not good.
It's a bit dull.
It's not a good movie. It's boring. It's terribly paced.
Yeah.
It's like...
It did not need to be 3 hours long,
Yeah.
let's be real.
And I get that it's a setup, and like there's certain things for like to a certain extent, I think it does need to be 3 hours long because I hate when movies ruin their pacing of individual scenes because they're trying to power through it, you know?
Sure.
Because it's like they're giving every individual scene the individual respect that it deserves, which
But it's
leads
like
to
literally reading the book, you know?
yeah, but it comes out sluggish as fuck because it's giving all those scenes the weight that it feels like they should have, even though like most of them you're gonna forget about all the shit that happens, like him meeting the elf ladies and stuff, and it's just like, but each scene is treated equally in pace as if it matters to an equal extent, and I think that's where the runtime gets so ridiculous.
Yeah.
And like you don't know what information is gonna be important in later films when you're watching it until a second time, you know?
Right.
It was like with context of knowing what happens, like, okay, I know why this is important, I know why that's important, but I know like the first time I watched it, I didn't give a fuck about half the shit that was happening, you know? It's boring as hell. And then it feels very anticlimactic because the final battle is like in the middle of the day against random orc guys, and you're just like, what
You're
the...
like, huh, alright.
It doesn't follow a 3-act structure at all, which can be fine, you know?
Which, yeah, you don't have to by any means, but, you know.
It certainly feels like you're watching 3 episodes of a series.
Yeah, exactly. It feels like you're watching a Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
like, HBO show kind of thing.
And it's structured in arcs, where, like, you have the Shire arc, which is, like, the Shire up to Frodo meeting, what's his fuck?
Sam?
No,
Gandalf?
Aragorn.
Oh, okay.
Like,
Okay.
that,
Who are we
that's
talking
the
about?
first arc, where it's like, you don't know what's going on completely. You have the introduction stuff of, like, Gandalf and the Shire and Frodo, and he's being introduced to his quest, and he's going off on his own and forming his team with the other hobbits. And then you get the Aragorn stuff up to them, like, creating the Fellowship, and that's like its own arc. And then you've got the Fellowship has been started, so that you have the arc up to them going through the caves and Gandalf doing the You Shall Not Pass. So that's its own arc. And then you have the arc after that where you get into another lull and there's elf shit, and then it builds up to the final scene of them fighting the orcs. And it's like it's these separate arcs that have they have their own act structures in themselves, where it has a climax in a boring part, and a lull, and like if I had more time, I could articulate how there are 3 act structures within these scenes, but it makes for a very dull movie.
Yeah.
Getting through it, and it's like I know that I know the second movie is way better, and I really like the second movie from my memory of it. So it's like I'm kind of more excited to watch that, but it's just like you gotta get through the first movie. Oh god, here we go. And then it's so long, but it spends so little time developing a lot of the characters. Where, like, the movie's called The Fellowship of the Ring.
And the Fellowship is in, like, 45 minutes of it.
You don't meet the Fellowship until, like, halfway through the movie, and then they get, like, barely any screen time. Like, Gimli and Legolas are there, but there's no indication to know that they are important characters, you know? Like, they don't really do anything interesting. They kind of have to show up so that you're reminded that they're there. You don't know any of their backstory. You don't know who the fuck Legolas is!
Exactly.
I don't know, like, even after all 3 movies, I don't know who the fuck he is. You don't know his backstory.
Well, I mean,
like, he's just some elf that joined them.
I think the primary thing is not Legolas, but it's the relationship between Gimli and Legolas and the dynamic they have. But they don't really set that up very well in this movie either. And
they don't have much development. You don't know their backstories very well. Like, they could have spent more time on each of these characters versus, like, really dragging out every individual scene. Like, you get a bunch of shit with Aragorn. Like, he's the real main character of the trilogy, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of it's fucking really, really boring. Yeah. And very dated feeling.
Definitely, I feel like Aragorn is kind of an uninteresting character, at least in the first movie.
Yeah,
it's just like he's a real good boy.
He's the adult character to latch on to, you know, whereas Frodo feels like the teen character.
Elijah Wood looks pretty freaky in this movie, by the way. Especially when he's, like, wounded or dying, and he's just doing, like...
Which is... all the time. He's always wounded and dying. He's always like mouth agape, chin tucked into neck, like dying.
Neck all the way in. It's like, oh Jesus. Are you alright? Are you gonna have a seizure?
It's also a trip to watch it and know that Orlando Bloom was 24 in this movie and Elijah was 20 in this movie.
Yeah.
Very trippy.
It's crazy.
Very trippy.
It's fucking weird.
Oh, I don't like.
Wow. Excuse you. Excuse you. Excuse you.
Yeah.
Honestly.
What do I want? Take the slow charge. Big boy blast. Hades! Still playing Hades. Yeah, that's my thoughts on Lord of the Rings' first movie. Very boring.
Pretty boring. Pretty dull.
Too long.
But you know, whatever. It's fine.
It'd be great if they restructured it as like a mini-series, I guess. But then you'd still be slogging through 3 episodes that not much happens in.
Yeah, nothing would really change, so...
It's one of those where, like, I can imagine in not too much time, like, HBO doing a remake of Game of Thrones, or, of Lord of the Rings as a Game of Thrones style series, but I feel like it would end up adding too much shit that we don't care about and dragging out stuff that was boring even longer, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like these movies do the series, it feels like it's doing it justice. I don't know because I haven't read the books, but it feels like it's doing
I feel like pretty much
everything justice, and it's well paced scene by scene in terms of like respecting the scenes and giving them air to breathe and like respecting the duration of it and not trying to rush through shit.
Yeah.
Like, I think that is good directing on the movie's part. But also, like, I don't know, it just feels like it focuses on boring stuff, you know?
Yeah, I mean, certainly and I think that's why people who are so big into Lord of the Rings and, like, read the books and were obsessed with the books really like these movies, because it feels like a genuine experience that comes close to reading the books. And that's why people hate The Hobbit.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Well, The Hobbit is one book stretched into 3 movies.
Yeah. Completely unnecessary, but, you know.
Yeah. I wasn't ever sure what the fan reception of Lord of the Rings was as an adaptation.
Oh, they loved it.
Nice.
It's very, very positive, at least in the group of people I ran with.
Seems like it's always been one of the most beloved adaptations.
Yeah. Definitely big in the Christian community.
Yeah,
Shocking.
I didn't know until we were watching it that Lord of the Rings has like Christian propaganda in it.
Yeah, it's
and then as soon as Hope
Tolkien,
says that,
dude.
I'm like, oh god, now I see it all. Fuck.
Yep.
I
What do
had
you
no
think
idea.
the ring is?
Yup, it's sin, it's temptation, and then they allude to it constantly. Like, oh my god, here we go with this shit.
Yep.
It's like I knew it was temptation, but like when you put it that way, it's like, oh, okay. Oh no. Oh no.
Sorry to ruin it for those of you non-Christian boys out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, J.R.R. Tolkien is a big Christian writer, so...
Yeah. Soap said she had read the books, and I was like, really? It's got monsters and stuff. I'm surprised you were able to read. Oh, it's because it's Christian propaganda. Okay. That's when orcs and elves are okay, is when it's propaganda.
Right, when we're talking about Jesus, then it's okay to use orcs
Yeah.
and elves as metaphors.
Exactly.
This was, like, the only case in which, like, wizardry was okay, because Gandalf is, like, you know...
Yeah.
A
It's like, he's a
metaphor.
wizard!
It's a metaphor for being a good Christian and overcoming
He is
sin.
reborn like Jesus Christ. So,
You know.
he is, he does have Jesus things going on.
There's a lot of Jesus shit going on here.
He is reborn in white.
Yeah. Precisely.
Fucking Gandalf the Jesus. Gandalf the Christ.
Gandalf the Christ. I mean, he's not, you know, not one for one the Christ figure of this.
Gandalf
movie,
the
but-
Christ. Is Frodo the Christ? Who's the Christ? I'm just trying to know who the Christ is.
I mean, there is, like, no one for one
Yeah.
the Christ.
Everyone's
in
the
this-
Christ.
In this one.
Yeah.
It's usually about, like, different kinds of Christians. Hello!
You've got the nameless king.
Hello! How are you?
Lala is here. She's
Lala
never on
is here.
camera, but she's always
a
here.
good girl, and I'm gonna give her a little
She's
scratch,
always around.
and then I'm gonna ignore her. Go back to ignoring.
We're not gonna be able to beat these guys as fast this time. No.
Uh-oh. Other than that, we've been watching Hunter x Hunter again.
Oh yeah, Hunter.
Hunter.
That's been fun. It's
You've been
really good.
enjoying Hunter
Yeah.
x Hunter?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. It's good.
It's nice to see it with the context of like sort of my big takeaways from it is that like throughout the later seasons in the Chimera Ant arc and stuff, you start to lose like you become out of touch with Gunn and his motivations and his feelings and his internal monologue. So you stop hearing a lot of that, and it focuses on so many other characters that like I kind of forgot what he was all about and didn't like him as much.
Yeah.
And now rewatching, it's like, oh yeah, he's really cool. Seeing it all like fast again, you know. And I'm wondering if you watch it without so much time, because we watch Chimera Ant arc and everything after that week to week. So that's like a year of watching Hunter x Hunter where Gon is not the main character anymore, you know.
Right.
So you kind of really like you love Killua a lot and you forget who Gon is. Especially in the last arc where Gon is unconscious the entire time for like 30 episodes. Like, you really start to lose track of who he was as a character.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because he changes a lot as a character in that time.
Yeah, and I've rewatched the Chimera Ant arc in the last arc, and not anything before that. So, yeah, it was hard for me to remember what he was really like, and now I'm getting that again. I'm like, oh yeah, I love him. He's great.
Yeah.
I understand him a lot, and I understand... Like, this is the first time I've seen the early episodes after knowing where the show goes, and I see a lot more of where it was going and how well set up it was.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, the first time it feels like a lot of the arc changes are really random, and, like, there is still a lot of, like, ADHD in the writing of Hunter x Hunter, but it's more set up than I thought it was.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
There's definitely more of setups and payoff than I remembered.
Yeah, I mean, I've only seen Hunter x Hunter once all the way through, and so going back and watching it again has been fun, especially since the first go around I didn't really get into it until about like 20 episodes in.
Yeah. And this time I'm like, oh no,
and this time
is
I was
great from the
immediately just
beginning.
like, okay, yeah, well I know what all these characters are about, and I'm immediately invested.
Yeah. And it's definitely less... Now, in retrospect, it's a lot less scatterbrained than Yu Yu Hakusho was, which is just, like, really jumped around with what it was trying to do.
A lot. There's
It'd just
a
be
lot
like, we're
of
doing
shit.
this now!
Yeah, they do some...
Yeah.
Assholes.
I mean, after Toguro, it becomes, like, a wild ride in terms of where it decides it's going.
Yusuke's wild ride.
Yes. But yeah, Hunter x Hunter, it definitely seems like he kind of knew from the beginning a general idea of where it was going to go and sort of how to write for where he wanted it to go.
Yeah.
In terms of like really powering through the early stuff, where like Yu Yu Hakusho starts off as like an entirely different story, and then like he gets the spear gun, and like it really changes direction and vision a lot in the earlier stuff, getting to like the Dark Tournament arc, you know?
Yeah.
Where it kind of finds its identity. Like Hunter x Hunter feels like from the beginning he kind of knew a general direction
wanted to generally go with these
of
characters
what kind of story
and
you
the
wanted
plot.
to write, and like you see that the Nen stuff was set up from the very beginning, which I didn't catch as much the first time watching it.
Right.
Of like their depictions of it and the way Hisoka uses it, and their like being able to detect it is established like really early on, and so it's like okay, they knew exactly where they wanted to go with like having him do the hunter stuff and like getting through that and establishing what they needed to do to progress the story. And it has nice, clear, vague goals from the beginning so that they can always be heading in the right direction without being tied down to anything.
Yeah, the goals are very, like, it's clear what they want to do, but they're very overarching, so they
Yeah.
have a lot of wiggle room to do, like, little extra side things.
Exactly. Without having the characters be too fixed or too loose, you know, where it's like,
Yeah.
Gun has his clear goal if he wants to find his dad, and then his character goal is very much he just wants to fight strong people. It's like he's very flexible in what he can do because he just wants to get stronger, and that's his biggest motivation is getting stronger, so you can throw him into all these random things and he's gonna fit because of his goals.
Right.
Killua has very clear goals of like he just wants to be Gon's friend.
Right.
And he wants friendship. He's very simple as a character. Kurapika has very clear goals of I want to
Kill
get
spiders.
revenge. I want to kill the spiders. We know where his plot's going immediately. Leorio, very simply, wants to be a doctor. Like, easy motivations established at the very beginning, and they never change over the course of the entire show, even though his character goes way by the wayside.
Oh,
But
yeah.
like,
I mean, Leorio's character is, he just wants to work around the American healthcare system.
yeah. But it
Completely
feels like,
fair.
whereas with like Yu Yu Hakusho, like characters don't have goals; they just kind of end up doing things. You know, Yusuke is just thrown into whatever scenario, and his ultimate goal is I don't want to deal with this.
Yeah.
Like Hunter x Hunter, they did a great job of establishing where it's gonna go.
No.
Fuck, too late. I didn't catch the fish.
Oh, no.
That's an analysis.
And, you know, I would say as far as a long-term shonen goes, the animation is just pretty solid.
It's always
It's
solid,
never
consistent.
super awful, and usually it's not like there's not a lot of like
Yeah.
whoa Sakuga, but
It'll have
it's
its
also
short
like
moments.
just really solid throughout. People like to pick apart the little like goofy faces when they're like way off in the distance and
Yeah.
stuff, but like
Hunter x Hunter looks.
it's just a
solid.
really solid production all
Yeah.
around.
And it has so much more of like it's the opposite of like Jujutsu Kaisen, where
Yeah.
Jujutsu Kaisen has the big flashy action scenes where you feel like you're watching nothing. And it's like you don't have a clear establishment of character rules or power levels or anything, and it's just like people flailing around and flying, and I don't give a fuck about that. I find it really boring and asinine. But Hunter x Hunter has such the fight scenes are always contained explosions where it's like you really know what the characters' goals are, you really know what they're going for. I'm trying to see when it shuffles multiple times. I don't really care about whatever. But yeah, it's more about like subtlety in the action scenes, and that's what I always love about Hunter x Hunter. And the ultimate form of that is the castle raiding in the Chimera Ant arc
Oh yeah,
that you
for
eventually
sure.
get to. And it's like I enjoy that type of fight scene so much more because it's just about like fights in Hunter x Hunter are usually over in a couple moves, you know.
Yeah.
It's all about like the importance of the moves.
There's a
it's
lot
almost-
of like
it's like
mentality in
yeah,
the fights.
Every fight in Hunter x Hunter is a Kurama fight in Yu Yu Hakusho. Where, like every Kurama
Yeah.
fight is he has one move he's trying to do and he gets that move in, and there's always a big twist where it seems like he's gonna lose, but then he planted that seed. Like that's almost all the Hunter x
a lot
Hunter
of
fights.
mind games in Hunter x
Yeah.
Hunter fights.
Lots
I agree.
of fun shenanigans and mind games, and I'm glad it leans into that more as opposed to the flashy bullshit action that means nothing and gets you nowhere.
Yeah. But, you know, I guess that's why Togashi has established himself as one of the greats of the shonen genre, you know? He's real good at that.
Beloved and respected.
Yeah, much like
hope-
Yu Yu Hakusho.
If there's anyone in our audience who is still somehow sleeping on Hunter x Hunter, I hope I'm convincing you by explaining these very basic things.
If you... I
It's
just
just
have
such
a
a fun
hard time
time.
believing that if you're an anime fan who has any interest in shonen or action, you haven't heard of or seen Hunter x Hunter at this point. Like, you really have to go out of your way to avoid it.
I do
I mean,
wonder
unless you're a
people's
newbie, you
perspectives.
know?
Like, if you've only watched Boku no Hero Academia, like, is Hunter x Hunter really boring? I don't know.
I mean...
Or, like, is it... Because
I
it's
don't
so
know.
focused, you know, versus something like that has, like, 1 billion characters or whatever. At least in the beginning. Or
It's so hard
if
to
you
say.
so don't know where it's going to go at the beginning and you're turned off by, like, the first arc or whatever. So I was
guess-
thinking about, like... I've had some interesting thoughts on, you know, I've been passively watching Attack on Titan for content and
Right.
seeing what's going on with that, and like, there's definitely an extent to where we've shat on Attack on Titan a lot, and it's actually, it seems like it's a lot better than I've ever given it credit for. Part of it is not watching it week to week,
Probably.
because like that was our initial experience with it. You watched a lot of it. You watched.
I mean,
all
I
of it week
watched
to week,
quite
right?
a bit of it when it first...
But you watched
came
it
out.
week to week, right?
Yeah.
It seems like watching it week to week is cancer.
Oh,
It like, it's meant to be watched all at once, and it's structured like the arcs flow like movies,
Yeah.
and so it's like if you watch it all at once, it seems really exciting and good.
Hmm.
And so it's like this is actually a lot better than I gave it credit for, because now I'm watching it all at once in these arcs with content, and like it has its moments where it lulls, but like the parts that are good seem really good, you know.
I mean, that's the thing with Attack on Titan is, like, the highs are really high,
Yeah.
but when it's boring, you're like, okay.
But when it's boring, like, and you watch it all at once, it goes way faster.
That, yeah. That
So I
probably
remember
would-
watching it on Adult
nice.
Swim. I had seen like the Big Lady arc
Big
that it
Lady!
goes through, and I thought they were in the woods fighting Big Lady for like 1 million episodes,
No.
but
It's
they're
one
not.
episode.
Yeah, it's pretty fast, and so like I'd always thought they were running around on horses, like fighting Big Lady forever, and I'm like, oh, this was way shorter, and it seemed way more interesting than I gave it credit for. It has all these awesome scenes, and I'm like, oh, Attack on Titan might be good if we really gave it a shot.
Yeah.
Especially now if we just started with season 2, since I could just
Season-
fill you
it's
in
not
on
even-
season
oh,
1.
Oh, because you're yeah, I think I've
Yeah.
seen all of season 1.
Yeah, but
So-
now I've seen all of season 1 through them watching it. So like, oh fuck, I lost! No! I died! I wasn't paying attention and I
Oh
died!
no!
Yeah, I mean, I had a really shit build that time. It was not good.
Woman.
They're giving me bad combo. I really gotta pee though.
Nice.
We'll probably wrap this up too.
Yeah, I was gonna say, there was just, one, did you have any more thoughts about
Oh,
Attack
but
on Titan?
I was getting to that on like, I was thinking about actually the amount that happens in 26 episodes of Attack on Titan versus Hunter x Hunter. Whereas like Hunter x Hunter, those 26 episodes fly by and I have a lot of fun watching them.
Yeah.
But like not a lot happens, you know, in
Sure.
terms of like grand plot.
Well,
It's
I would
like
say-
it's a lot more like casual slice of life fun almost
Yeah.
in terms of like going through this
You
arc
have
and it's just like
more endearing, like, engaging
Yeah.
characters.
it's like something
in
fun
Hunter
and
x Hunter.
interesting happens all the time in every episode versus Attack on Titan where it's like cool grandiose things happen at the end of arcs, but it gets really boring in like the start of an arc. Whereas
you
Hunter x
know-
Hunter is like more consistent, but less happens overall in 26 episodes versus Attack on Titan. Like,
yeah.
kind of a lot happens in season 1, you know,
And
by
they're
the end.
two different stories going for two different things. So, you know, it's not fair to expect the same thing from
Yeah.
both. But,
But like,
you
if you're a normie anime fan starting with Attack on Titan, is that going to be your expectation, and you find something like Hunter x Hunter kind of mundane, you know?
maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. But then a lot of
It
people
is.
like Dragon Ball, and that's boring as all fucking sin, so... I don't know what people's deal is. Alright, enough for this episode of Vic and Hope.
Oh, well, there was just, I had one closing
Yeah.
thought. I meant to actually bring this up in the bonus episode because it was Thanksgiving time, and I was just thinking about
Yeah.
it and being real sentimental.
Oh.
And I just wanted to, thank all you guys, you know, not just the patrons, but everybody who watches. So a
Yeah.
extra special thank you to the patrons and everybody who keeps up in our Discord and posts for us when we put up a new video.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I was just thinking, you know, It was always something I really wanted to do when I was younger, like a young teen. I always wanted to do Let's Plays. You know, I always wanted to be able to make content that was just me having fun, talking over some video games and hanging out. It's something that people would enjoy, and you know, we're doing it. We're making that together now. All we're doing is, you know, we're sitting down and having fun and having goofy conversations, and we get to entertain a couple people, and someone apparently thinks it's worthwhile enough to watch it or toss us a couple bucks, and I'm really grateful to have that opportunity and to have some of you guys who are willing to hang out with us and listen to the dumb shit we have to say.
Yeah, and on that note, you know, it's easy to perceive this as you know, I'm the male and this used to be Digibro, so I am the pusher and the owner of the channel, and you are my girlfriend, wife, tag along. But it's like, but Hope has always, like, you used to do YouTube videos where you read fan fictions and shit. Like, you never find them because they're all enlisted. But like, Hope wanted to be a YouTuber at some point, you know, and
I never thought I would make money doing YouTube, but like, it always seemed like something that was really fun. And
you could have. I think you could have been successful if you tried at it.
I don't know that I believe
and you still
that,
could. I think you still could be if you really tried, but you don't have time for it now, you know, or desire to be a full-time YouTuber. But,
yeah.
But I think it's in you. I think it's in your blood. I think you're natural.
I don't think so.
I think you're natural, and you put yourself down too much. So
I don't think
it's very appreciated. You're helping Hope achieve her hobby dreams.
Yeah. I just think it's nice that that we can have this hobby where people, you know, people enjoy it. I enjoy it. Yeah. It's just a fun time. Yeah. It's just really nice to have this thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, just was reflecting on things I was thankful for. That's all. Not to get too sappy.
I agree. I mean, Hope started, so now, you know, now I'm the tag along man. Thanks, guys, for hanging out. We appreciate it. We appreciate the comments, fan interaction. It's a lot of fun. I feel like everyone in the Discord is my boys now, you know, it's, which it comes with that weird, like, guilt association of, like, oh, they paid me to be here, but also I feel like, yeah, they're my boys. Guys, in the Discord, I communicate with you guys more than any of my IRL friends, and I don't communicate very often, so that's something. But yeah, appreciate it, and see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.